The following program deals with a controversial
subject.
The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
the top talents in the comic book business are here to tell everything they know.
All right, everybody, welcome to another Tuesday night, another Industry of Comics, episode 108. Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to have Jesse back. It's good to have the OG back. Look at this guy. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. 4 weeks of vacation from no social media was kind of fun to go back into the Stone Ages, right? And say, oh, I'm going to get a newspaper to get my news. And I didn't carry my phone around for 4 weeks, other than doing my live shows. I just stayed away from everything. So it's good to be back where I have some fun, hanging out with my bros and talking some good stuff.
Amen.
But did you get a Pepsi, though?
I always have a Pepsi on me, dude. I always have a Pepsi. You got preach with product. So gotta be brand essential, right?
Amen. Amen. We have one man back and another man starts his 4 weeks of vacation. So ladies and gentlemen, Dennis will be taking the next at least month off, it looks like. So he's going to enjoy his time away doing what he's got to do, and we'll bring him back when he decides to come back. So all right, we have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. The industry, the industry is in this very interesting place right now, from my perspective, from my opinion, and it's this weird place that I can't quite figure out, and I can't tell if it's in like a really good place or a good place that needs to be course corrected. You know what I mean? I don't think it's bad. I mean, obviously it's not. Look at the type of money that's coming in to our hobby. Look at the excitement in the storylines. That's always a key, right? As long as comics are good and there's good product coming out, and we're seeing good product from the writers, from the publishers, from always from the artists, at least over the last 5 or 6 years, the artists have been kind of carrying comics. But now it feels like it's kicking on all cylinders. And but there is some very interesting things that are happening. And one of them that we kind of want to get into right away is this weird thing that's going on, this weird relationship shift between publishers and retailers and publishers, and different types of retailers and publishers. And it's felt very evident for the last, I'd probably say 3 months for sure. And now we're getting things like this. And I want to preface this by saying this is coming from somebody that we respect immensely over here on Industry of Comics, and Filip Sablik. He's been on the channel multiple times. We love what him and his team over at Ignition Press are doing. And shout out to Adam Freeman, who had him on recently on his podcast. And I'm just going to play the beginning. So again, go watch the rest of the podcast. I'll put the link below. Go watch the rest of the podcast to get all the content. But I want to start the show off by playing a little clip from that show. So here we go.
We talked about earlier, you can no longer rely on...
Oh, wait, hold on here. Sorry. Might need to add... We're going to go into the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on here. Share screen. Boom. All right. There we go. Out of the Matrix. All right, here we go. Again, back to Filip on Adam's podcast. Why won't it let me...
retailer to be the end customer.
Here we go.
We talked about earlier, you can no longer rely on the retailer to be the end customer and the gatekeeper and the decision maker, the tastemaker that that determines success or failure. And so I think most creator-owned books are now having to essentially prove out. You're having to market to the end customer. You're having to build readership. Long term, I think that's healthier. Does that mean that it makes it a little harder for independent comic publishers and creators that are playing in this space to consistently kind of get those numbers that fund the next thing? Yes, I do.
So, very interesting point of view from a current publisher who is doing things that we like. Kind of a different view of the relationship between the retailer, especially the brick and mortar retailer, and a publisher. Basically, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, and Jesse, I want to go to you first on this. Was he asking, basically, it felt like he was saying, we can't rely on a retailer to, keep our business going. We have to do certain different things at this point in order to have a successful a comic book publishing business. What do you think, Jesse?
So one of the things that we have always talked about, and I've talked about, for a decade now, is everybody has to pivot. So you're always pivoting. You're pivoting your brand. You're pivoting how you introduce yourself, your social network, all this stuff. One of the key words, though, they used in that statement, was space. In this space, so what he's kind of saying is our company, our brand needs to jump into this new space that is available for a publisher to be a little bit more successful and direct to the consumer, and not having that middleman be technically the person selling their book among another 100 publishers. So it makes sense to go that route. I think it would have been more successful if he went to Bleeding Cool and said that, and not to take away from the show that he was on. But if you're going to say something like that and create that new venture, you need to go a little bit bigger in your social reach. So I think it's something that everybody does. Nike does. Every person that makes something is looking to branch off in all these different directions and have more than just one source to sell their product. So I think he is right. And I think it's something that all publishers should look at. We didn't, when Marvel and DC were being sold in Walmart, that was a smart move. So I think what he's doing is he's just expanding on that as a whole.
Check your Wi-Fi settings and make sure you have other things stop running on your computer, just so you're breaking up. Sean, what are your thoughts on this, man? Because, as Philip has been on the show several times, and he's actually been on episodes that you've been on with us, I believe, in the past. And I felt like he's kind of said similar things on the show in the past, that Ignition Press in the world we live in kind of has to do things different. And they have to look at maybe working with maybe less brick and mortar retailers and more, online retailers. But maybe I'm thinking differently about that. What are your thoughts?
If you have to do more than just the direct market, I mean, in my opinion. Now, are there tons of people that only do the direct market? Yes. They're leaving so much on the table. They really are. Let's a couple right off the top of my head. Let's take Dynamite versus Image, right? So I can't speak for Dynamite. I don't know their business model. All I know is what I see them do, right? They do Kickstarters. They make a crap ton of money doing Kickstarters. Like, that's awesome. That's huge.
Look at the G.I. Joe Kickstarter that's still raising ridiculous amounts of money. Yeah.
It just go back and look at historically. He's probably made gross revenue probably about, I have no idea, I'm guessing here, but just looking at what he's done in the past, let's say $1 million in Kickstarter revenue. That's awesome. Does he need brick and mortars for that? No, not at all. Not at all. So he doesn't need brick and mortars to make $1 million a year. Now, what does he need to keep his business running? What's your overhead? Blah, 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 all that stuff. There's other things that come out of that. You got to pay for royalties, all that crap, right? So, and then let's take Image. Image doesn't do any of that stuff, but they don't own the properties. if that makes sense. There's
Right.
it's different flip sides of the same coin. There's a lot of stuff. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's been a lot of properties. I can't remember the exact ones. I want to say Berserker, but I could be wrong. There's been a lot of stuff. No, it's not Berserker. It's the Noctera. It was kickstarted before it ever went to Image, and it was still a huge hit in Image. So some of these creators, they'll kickstart their book and then bring it to Image to publish, which is awesome. Are they saying they don't need and there's different reasons for doing this stuff too, right? So if you're more IP farming, the direct market how the direct market responds, how customers, how everybody responds to your property, it could be a good gauge for if.
And we just
Oh, he
lost Sean.
froze.
Yeah.
Yep, you there?
We just froze. Sean just
Yeah.
froze. Fron. We'll wait for him to come back.
Yeah.
Okay, so Emmett, this is a very interesting question for you too, because you are a what's the word? Not the word like completist, but like you're old school at heart and how you feel about this. You are about brick and mortar shops, and you feel
I
like
want to sell issue 2 to the person who bought issue 1. I want to sell issue 3 to the person who bought 1 and 2, and yeah, so on and so forth. I think he made a mistake to use the bad connotation, the word with the bad connotation of gatekeeper. I think this comes from, like, there are, store owners who have been bad actors. The problem is we have a chip on our shoulder because we've never been an actual partner, right? We've always been, the second class citizen in the industry. So, and this just goes on further. So he's saying, well,
do you think
we
that it's
can't-
always been that way though? Like, I mean, I feel like the industry needed brick and mortar shop retailers back from the moment they started the direct comic until about maybe 2015, like I feel like from the moment the direct comic started and to 2010 2015, the retailer was necessary in the comics world and almost everything. And then it got to a point where IPs became so big that you can make so much more money off your IPs than you could by selling comic books, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'm going to say something a little controversial, I think. Maybe not.
Hold on.
It's not drama. It's
Hold
just
on.
a little controversial.
Hold on.
Yo, let's do this.
Valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree?
All right. I agree, sir. Okay, Emmett, go ahead. Sorry about that, bro.
Okay, no worries. Online sellers who do not have a brick and mortar do not make comic book readers. Period. So if they want to cut out the guy at the shop, I'm going to stop handing that book out to the newest person that comes in the door that says, "Hey, I've always heard about these comics. What's a good thing to read? Well, what do you like?" We go through that whole scenario, and then you hand them a book that they'd like.
Do you think that is the case because there's the interaction? You feel like that interaction is lacking between an in-person interaction and an online interaction? Is that the reason you feel that way, or is it more than that?
Well, I think that the online interaction is great for the people who love comics and don't have somebody to provide them comics. There's plenty of room for that. There's so many customers out there unreached. But to make it's sort of like the card games Magic and Pokemon. The online sellers aren't making players. Players move the market and sell the product. Right? They're the ones that when times shift and cards are not worth $500, $1,000 out of each box, those people are still showing up because it's a community that they're having fun with.
So what you're basically saying is out of the 17,500 plus cities in the United States, and there's only about 2,000 comic book stores, that 15,000 people that don't have comic book stores shouldn't be ordering online?
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't be ordering online. I'm saying that they are not making, they're not making new readers.
Well, but if that's your only option to get the product to read it,
no, Jesse, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Emmett, but you're saying that is okay for people that don't have it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He made that very clear, and I think maybe he misunderstood that.
I think it's very important for on-sale sales. Yeah, very important to have online sales.
But listen, interaction between your LCS owner and your community of other readers, and being able to talk to them in person and be able to go to the shop and, just kind of get out of your head, or, like you say, comic book therapy, Jesse. When you walk into the shop, you are out of the real world and this and that, and that is what creates a long-time fan base or a long-time buying base that is mainly based in readers rather than collecting.
Right. Okay. Desperately needed more of that, because they stick around forever. The old guy that comes in, he didn't start reading comics yesterday, right. 99% of the time.
So I'm still confused. So all these things that you do on your page, who are you talking to? Are you only talking to people that walk into your store for your social media page? Or are you talking to people that don't come into your store?
No, I'm talking to everybody on the internet.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Right.
So what you have to do in this case is you have to make Facebook a social page for people to get their comic book therapy that don't have a page. You have to have shows like this to reach out to people so that they get their comic book therapy. I
agree.
In general, 100%. I understand what you said, but I also want it to be known that we have options to make people feel that experience, not just when they walk into the store or when they walk afar, whether it be live streaming, whether it be Facebook, whether it be your great informational tools that you talk about, or Sean's top 10 that he does. So I get what you're saying, but we do have options to bring that in.
Right, but he's saying we're no longer needed. We are either a piece of the pie or we're not.
Well, what he's saying, for his company to be successful in the future as a brand new company, this is the path that they're looking to go. They're not saying the industry should do it. They're saying their brand is going to do it.
Right. So are they taking it out of distribution?
No, I don't think they're saying they're taking it out of distribution.
Then it's coming, then I can buy the book.
No, I think
I'm a brick and mortar.
I think what he's saying is that in the past, you used to be able just to sell in brick and mortar shops. And now, if you choose just to sell in brick and mortar shops, it's not going to sustain his business. That's what he's saying.
You didn't hear the same thing that I heard.
Right.
He starts out about the gatekeeping and the this and the that, and we don't need that anymore. We're going to move on.
No, what he said was they can no longer rely on the brick and mortar, and this is why they are going to add this. Let's
just replay it just so we all hear it again.
Let's play it one more time.
Yeah. So, all right, here we go.
We talked about earlier, you can no longer rely on the retailer to be the end customer and the gatekeeper and the decision maker, the tastemaker that determines success or failure.
So he's saying, and you guys tell me if I'm right about this, and Sean, I'm going to ask you first. It feels like he's saying that we can't rely on the brick and mortar shop to just sell our book anymore.
We can't rely on them to determine our success. If comic shops decide to not sell our product, we're going to fail. If they decide to sell our products, we'll be successful. The way I'm interpreting it is, I can't put my company's success solely in the hands of comic shops to say, please like my book. Please put my books in yourself. Please order my books. What do you want? Returnability? Do you want a bigger discount? You want 57% off and you want full returnability and you want ratio variance, but you don't want ratio variance. What do you want? What can I do for you? And you're constantly, you can never make everybody happy. Everyone's going to be mad at you. That's what I get. What he's saying is I can't let them determine my success.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at someone like this, who's kind of saying this is the future for our business, they might be the very first people to do direct to customer, extremely successful, but also keep in mind, it's not like we say, oh my gosh, I'm going to do live streaming. And then after we do a show, we say, oh, how do I get this to people? We've already planned, okay, we have to have a shipping company that ships direct to consumers. We have to have computers. We have to have whatever discount rate we have with the postal service. So they've already thought about this as a whole, even before they said it. Is it sustainable to do this ourselves, or do we farm off, right? Like Liefeld has Hong, who does all his shipping for him, right? So, or when we were shipping for Sakai, same exact thing. So I think as a whole, what he's basically saying is, we're not giving up on retailers, but they're no longer the number one way we are going to be successful.
So how is a new company like Ignition Press, what are they going to do to be successful then if they're not relying on retailers? Jesse?
So one of the things is then look at the things that Brian Polito has done, right? Where he has this option to do Kickstarters.
Like Sean said, yep, Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah, Kickstarters. He's then do stuff direct to consumer off their web pages, which is very, very big. You keep in mind, you can create your own business on eBay. Just because it says eBay doesn't mean you don't market it as your own inventory and your own store. Coming on shows like this to promote it, doing Facebook Live. So they have a lot of options that, they're starting their own Whatnot page. And they'll then be selling on Whatnot. So they have options as a new company because their customer base hasn't been immersed in one way now. Now they then control how their consumers purchase. And if they're still buying from a brick and mortar, fine, that's for a brick and mortar to do it. But we're going to do everything else to engage with our consumer, not just on a Wednesday, but 7 days a week.
So are you going to compete with them?
Am I going to compete with them? No, I'm going to work with them and find ways how to get more and better product, not through just the distributor.
What do you mean by compete with them, I guess?
Well, if they're selling direct to consumer off Whatnot and they can create their own exclusives for their publishing company, they can do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
With the product, like you do.
Yeah. So let's just say Image had a Whatnot channel and they did their own dork exclusives. I would still want to do a dork exclusive because I get to pick my artist. I get to get my concept. I have a market. I can do what I want with that book. I can release it at 500. I can limit it to 10 or 400 or whatever. I still have an audience that I know will buy that book. So I would compete with them and work with them. It just depends, right? Like if so we did something similar. We were publishing with Merck. Every book was kickstarted first, then it went into Lunar. Till we got to a certain point, then we were going backwards with the Lunar first, then we would kickstart it. And then you could buy all those issues on our own website. We had our own direct-to-customer website. And I didn't see any harm in any area. Like it wasn't like we had a huge influx of selling. We could have done things better to market differently, but it was great sources of income from all different areas. There's covers I could put out for Merck that I could never put into Lunar. Tons. I have more freedom to do it on my own website.
Do you guys
Kickstarters?
Do you guys think that? So I want to get into like what is causing this, right? Because I agree with all you guys on different levels. I agree with Emmett that for the longest time, and maybe I don't know if Emmett is saying this, but I feel like this is what he's saying. For the longest time, you had everything that you could do all, people can go to Whatnot or eBay Live or Facebook and live sell now. That was all done through the shops. Having a person come to the counter and buy a bunch of books, and then you say, "Hey, I got a new book that you might like because I know your pull list. Check this out." Like that was now is being done here, where we're going, "Hey, there's a new book out this Wednesday. It's kind of like this, and if you guys are into this, you like this." Well, that was all done in the shop before then, right? What do you think is causing this changeover? And I want to talk about two things, and I want to ask: do you guys think it's because
Numbers.
do you guys think it's because of the live selling platforms or social media, which I think are kind of the same thing, or the variant game?
No, it's the live selling. It's the numbers. They're going to be able to do a lot more numbers through everyone that does live selling.
Yeah.
But so to answer Emmett's question in a different light, if I know Ignition's going to be selling their cover A on a Whatnot stream on a Wednesday drop, I'm going to order less for my stream on a Wednesday drop because I know that they're going to go right to the source to get it from their Whatnot. I'm not going to order. If Marvel was dropping books on a Whatnot channel on Wednesday, I would order much less. If you could have got them directly from DC and they did some kind of an event where DC KO comes out and they got an artist there signing or some kind of advantage they can take advantage of and do a big thing, I would have stayed far away from that book. Like I would have ordered 80% less than what I did. And that book killed it for us. Like KO was amazing, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it's just there is certain scenarios where I would say, not mad at you, make your money.
My buddy is a huge online seller. He sold the Superman, Spider-Man. He told me he sold like 450 copies. Like the first week it was out, and they're still selling like off the brick, like 20,
Yeah.
$30 a piece.
They sell every day. It's crazy.
So like, look, it's here and it's here to stay. It's just when the publishers get into the game, the squeeze begins.
The squeeze on the retailers, on the brick and mortar
Yeah.
shops, and it's going to cause. And so here's the question. Again, can the game that's playing right now sustain what's going on to where people are people going to go back to brick and mortars, or are brick and mortars going to be able to survive? That's the other question to ask, right? Is
So
Well,
let
go ahead,
me go first.
Yeah.
So I want to back up a little bit for anybody who's in retail. Brian had said when the customer gets to the counter, you want to show them something else. You want to show people more books before they get to the counter. Just make that straight, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Let's get that in the forefront. Let's show it while they're still on the floor, not when they're deciding can they afford what they have at the counter. The second thing is what Sean said. You also never want to put yourself in a position to take away from your consumer. So if my consumer is always buying new issues from me, I don't want to stop carrying something just because someone else is carrying it. I still want to be that provider to keep them into my base, right? So it really depends on what type of customer consumer base you are creating. And if you're looking for a longevity, right, then you want to be able to sell that person anything regardless of who is on. I don't care if Liefeld is selling outside in front of my store. I'm still going to carry that book to sell my long-term customers. Retention is very, very important.
Yeah, but I'm going to carry much less of it.
I get it. Yeah, you probably won't have extras to it. You're then take care of that known base for it.
Yep.
So I get that. Consumers only leave stores when they can't get the product they need. That is the comic book world. Anybody that says my customer only buys from me does not understand a comic book collector. You don't have it, and you say, listen, I don't got it. It's going to take me a week to get it. Oh, don't worry about it. They'll drive 10 miles to go get that book. They'll walk outside.
I'll call around and find it for them.
Right, exactly. They'll go outside or do it right in front of you. Oh, no, you know what? Comics Elite got it. I'm going to go ahead and get it from them. So I think what we need to make sure that we understand that people are going to buy from that retailer It's just they have so many different platforms now that they can buy it from, right? So when we open up our store, what do? We look at our Facebook to see what we sold on our Facebook page. We look at our web page. We look at our eBay page, and we do our follow-ups on our eBay live shows. So that's 4 things even before I walk into the store and say, oh, let's see what I got in the mail today, or what were they highlight in the store today. So we have so many options to keep that consumer with us. We just need to be on those platforms where they're at. And then I think that's how you become successful.
It feels like what's interesting to me is that, you know, the comic book shops were created for the direct market, basically, right? And now the direct market is no longer the comic book shop. It's straight to the person because of new technology, right? And then at the same time, whereas creators used to rely on the comic shops as well for the same basic reasons, now the creator can skip the comic shop and go directly to the people as well. So it's interesting that the publishers might be doing this, and at some point the creator is going to go, well, do we need the publishers anymore as well?
And there's some already that do that. There's a lot of creators live on. They do their own exclusives through their own, you know, they do their own exclusives. They sell their own stuff. They, you know, people only have so much bandwidth too. You know what I mean? So with these, it's different business models. So let's just say, there's a couple of points I think that are important to recognize in the big picture here, right? So the more comics you print, the cheaper they are to print, right? So that's where the direct market is a boon to every publisher, because if you can get 2,500 shops to order 5 copies, you know, that's going to reduce your print. Then you can pony up, you can go onto that print order and add extra stuff to it. I'm going to print a variant, do an exclusive. You could print your next 3 months worth of books in that one order, depending on what you're going to do with those variants. So that's important too. There's eyeballs. When you do your FOC show, when all of our guys do our FOC show, having eyeballs on your stuff in Lunar or Penguin is super important. Having eyeballs on your title, having the ability for your a shop to order their favorite artist cover that they like, that's huge too. And like I said, getting those numbers out there for when you're going out to the Hollywood people. We sold this many hundreds of thousands of books. You know, there's so many benefits to the direct market. I don't think anybody can really ever, a publisher, in all honesty, can ever abandon the direct market. Like it'd be stupid to do that. It's the easiest thing to do. You don't even have to ever touch a comic book. You can make that comic digitally. You approve it all digitally. You send it all off for printing. The books get shipped directly to the distributor. I can do it all from this room. I don't have to touch a comic ever, right? No inventory passes through my hands as long as I'm paying my invoices.
I feel
But
like
to do whatnot and to do a website, now I got to do fulfillment. I got to have streamers. I got to have somebody posting. I got to have an e-commerce person on the email. Can you make more money? Yeah, but there's also setting all that up, standing that business up. That's a ton of work. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that the industry has the circus tent has gotten so much more bigger, right? And it's all about how you guys want to run your business. And that goes for everybody out there. What type of business owner are you? You know, what kind of business, what you have learned, and everybody's different. But it's just, I think that local comic shops, brick and mortar comic shops, have become more than just comic shops now. And they've been forced to. And we've been talking about that since day one of this show. They've been forced to pivot. And I feel like now they're no longer a place where people go to get their comics. They're a place where people go to feel a sense of community. It's like their coffee shop now, or their pub, if that makes sense.
There's a big, huge shift in culture back to community, finding people to hang out with. Our magic community keeps growing every week, it gets bigger and bigger. Our comic book community keeps getting bigger and bigger. I'm actually going to do like a book club, like bookstores are doing.
I would love to hear more about that, because, like, you know, the first thing you said is my magic community. but I want to, and I understand why that's happening. You know, you're getting new sets, more players, people are getting into it, the Marvel stuff, and it's still like a playable thing rather than more of a collecting thing. I feel like the Pokemon and maybe not Pokemon, but definitely Magic feels like it's more of a playable buyer base than it is a collecting buyer base. Whereas I feel like, and I'm going to keep saying it, I feel like the comic world has become more of a collecting buyer base than it has a reading or a player base, right?
Right.
And
But
I
it
want
also
to
is it's shifting back though to readers, I think, with the absolute lines, with White Sky and Nectar and these other books. Those are
Feral,
real.
Monstrous,
Those are,
being,
I
yeah,
mean,
you know,
White Sky had the boringest covers in the world. None of those were cover buys.
Transformers, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, Transformers. All the covers are the same. It's robots on the covers. I mean, you know, they look
Yeah.
cool,
Sure.
but you know,
don't
It's
when you
storyline
say
that sells those.
when you
Mhm.
say retail is getting wider and long and this bigger space, I think it's a smarter space. I think we're much smarter on how we
You've been
create,
forced
you
to
know, as
become
a,
smarter, though.
well, you're not forced to do anything.
Well,
I
because I'll
think
tell you what, and tell me if I'm wrong. You, Jesse, I know you've done this. You've gone across the country. You've been into comic book stores, and there was quite a few comic book stores that I know you've been in where you're like, I don't know how those guys are still in business, and they're probably
right.
not anymore because they weren't. I don't think that a comic shop, and there's, I shouldn't say that. I feel like there's the probability that there's very few comic shops out there that can just sell comics to people that come into their store. I feel like they have to be doing something else, if that makes
Right, but
sense.
when you say a retailer is forced to, that retailer also has to be comfortable with what they're doing, right? If someone has sold comics for 45 years and all of a sudden they're selling Pokemon cards, that's a very hard pivot and a hard adjustment for them to do. So not only do you have to be comfortable with it, you have to be willing to be taught. And you know, as you do this longer, the four of us on the three of us on the DS, it's very tough to tell us to do something, right? We're very staunch on our brand and this is what we're going to do. So I think as you slowly learn what you can pivot and sell more of, that you feel comfortable of with, when a customer comes in your store and you feel comfortable to say, oh my gosh, let me show you the new thing from Magic, or let me show you the new thing from Pokemon. We just sold this awesome mystery box of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and One Piece. I would have never done that 90 days ago or a year ago because I didn't know anything about those three. Now I can converse about it. So I think that store that is changing and welcoming new customers has to be comfortable with what they're doing. And I also think consumers know when you don't know what you're doing.
Do you
100%.
do the two brick and mortar store owners currently on the show, which are Jesse and Emmett? I know, Sean, you had a brick and mortar store, but you currently don't have one right now. In the same type of brick and mortar store that you guys have, which is not just comics. It's comics, cards,
It's
collectibles,
everything.
merchandise, you know, vinyl. It's like everything. Okay, in that world, how do you guys look at just comic creators who are creating comics that might not be going through like the main distribution methods? Like, do you feel like they're unknown in your store? And the reason I'm asking is this because I want to also look at it from the angle of the creators who are just creating comics out there that might not ever show up in your shop other than when they're just in a collection, you know what I mean? Which isn't necessarily good for the creator. And that's the
No.
dynamic that has shifted too, is the creator's reliability on how they rely on the person selling their book because they can sell it now. Go ahead, Emmett.
So when a person that's self-publishing a book contacts me, I get them to send me a PDF. I read it. If I think it has merit, even if I don't like it, I will buy it. I don't do consignment. Consignment is too much work. If you're doing consignment, good on you, man. That's insane. Keeping track of somebody else's shit is ridiculous. I pay for it, whatever they want for it, and then I put it up for whatever I think I can get for it. And I have a section that's just for self-published comics. When somebody is like, I want something different, something new, I've read all the books because I read them before I bring them in, and I hand sell them just like I hand sell new books.
Jesse, what about you with self-published stuff?
Yeah, so it's kind of neat. When I first opened here, obviously in Arizona, I built a huge local community with doodle nights with 40, 50 people, with Natalie Sanders starting there, and all these Mike DeBalfo and Raven Gregory, Brian Pulido, all these people that you build this community around to help them, to give them a mountain of knowledge that you can provide them to be very successful with zero hope of them paying you back. Now, normally most people do, right? Most great creators do. So when I moved to Florida, this gentleman once a week came in, very quiet, very quiet. And one day someone walked up and said, "Is that Clay Man?" I go, "I have no idea. I just sell him stuff. I don't do anything." So he finally opens up about doing variant covers for Absolute, right? And so yesterday he was in, he goes, "Do you think the variant game, the exclusive game for people like myself, will be successful in the future?" And I said, "Absolutely," right? And I gave him that wealth of knowledge that we have from a consumer to him. And I think it's very important that we don't separate ourselves from that creator, that independent, and that we are a mountain that they can come in and hang out with and be part of their growth. And hopefully at some point they pick us as a partner to be part of that growth with them. So I don't think there is a separation unless you create that separation. Right. One of the questions Emmett said, you know, he reads the book and XYZ. I want to know what they do socially. Are you, if I'm going to help you, are you going to say, "Hey, I've on their Facebook page, I'm going to have this stuff at Just James Comics for you to pick up," and make sure it's not a one-way street as well. So we're always protecting our brand, but we're also welcoming to everybody in this business, so that when questions come up like that, it's an easy way to answer. That is, the answer is, I'm with everybody, and I don't have to make a penny off them, but I will make it someplace else, whether it be socially or hanging out with them at lunch or dinner at a convention.
But do they even need you guys now?
Doesn't matter if they need us.
Sean, go ahead.
What they need is our audience and our reach. That's what they need.
Yep.
So they need, like, I get self-published people all the time coming to me to, I get artists reach out to me. I get so many messages randomly in my all over the place. Check out my portfolio, check out my book.
Yeah.
And just to be really honest, majority of them are absolutely terrible. Majority of them, they suck. So, I can see some potential in some of the artists and the stuff that I get, but most of them, they're just nowhere near ready to do a cover, even interiors. Like, they're just.
What would you say that percentage is?
85%.
Wow. Holy cow.
They're terrible. Okay. I'm just being honest, man. Okay. And this is my opinion. Art's all subjective, stories are subjective, but you know, when the background of the art is all speed lines or just solid colors, and the faces are all wonky and the proportions are, it's, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, it's, they just, the good and the, I always say this, the good and the bad thing about the comic industry is that anybody can do a comic. That's good and bad, right? But you know, good on Emmett for giving him, if he likes it, he'll give him some space and hand sell it. Because, you know, what we're talking about here ultimately is people working together for the common good, common benefit. And Jesse just kind of said too, like, it can't be a one-way street. And I think what started this whole conversation was him talking about not letting the direct market determine his success, right? That's the smartest thing he can do. Like, I don't let my website determine my success. I don't let Whatnot determine my success. I don't let eBay determine my success. I don't let conventions. I go all over the place. I don't let exclusives determine my success. I don't let weeklies determine. I don't let my own publishing determine. It's all these different things. if one thing starts to sell less, I can ramp up somewhere else. I can shift and adjust, right? So
I think
it's
that
got to be
the
one thing
industry
feeding the other.
has changed so much and so quickly that everybody is basically in the same boat, and is that none of you can rely on any part of the industry to determine your success. That goes for brick and mortar store owners, that goes for people who are just online retailers, that goes for creators, that goes for publishers anymore, that goes for distribution services. You can't rely on any one thing anymore. You have to have your hands, you have to be able to use every single part of that tool belt. You have to be able to use, whatever it takes for you to be successful. I don't think you can just rely on a small, set of
No.
things,
Well,
Diamond
No.
Distribution, Marvel and DC,
the one thing he said was that us being the end buyer, right? So they're not selling to customer, they're selling to us and we're selling to customers. We're the middleman, right? So you're saying that's one of the things that they can't rely on. But when you don't have that buyer like me that says, I'm going to take a chance on XYZ. I don't know if I can sell it. I'm going to take a chance on it. I like their business model. I like the salesperson, whatever. From the publisher, I like the publishing team, anything. You buy it, you put it on your shelf. Now, if we're no longer partners, am I taking a chance to sell your book? I
So
can
I
tell
guess
you
I would
they're
ask you,
not selling out, right?
so I would say drill down on that and I hear that a lot. Like when, and maybe this is a deeper conversation here, but when retailers, not just you, I mean, I'm talking in general,
Yeah.
because I hear this all the time. Go to any convention where retailers and publisher together, they talk about we're partners, we're partners, we're partners. And I'm always like, what do you mean by that? We're partners. Like I get you want us to succeed. We want you to succeed. Everyone wants to make money. But sometimes those, you know, it's hard to explain because you can't do things that's going to benefit both people all the time. You can't just put publishers in one kettle and then retailers in one kettle, because all retailers are different. All publishers are different. They
Right.
do different things. So,
But
you
if you go
can't
to
put
a shop that's not online, that's not selling online, there's some of us that still are not live selling and are still successful. And you'll go into our back bins and you'll see who we've supported.
Mhm.
Have we got the same kind of support back?
And so that's a perfect way to carry on this conversation. What would you ask? What do you mean by that? What would you expect back? What do you want back from a publisher? Right. So hey, I bought your book. I bought your number one, your number two, your number three. I went heavy. I ordered more than I should have.
Right.
Do you want returnability? Like,
I don't
you know
want
what I mean?
returnability. I think that's bad for the business
I
because
agree.
that causes for overprinting and then the books around, dragging. Yeah, we could sell it. Somebody could own 5 of them. Somebody who wants the spec keeps buying them as the price goes down, down, down to 0. Um, what I want is a lot of what Ignition Press has been doing, like getting out ahead, like they have good social media. They send the little ash cans so I can put those in everybody's box so they can read that and come in and go, hey, yeah, put me down for that. I want to try that book. Those little ash cans have been selling a lot more of their books than a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of companies don't do that anymore.
The thing
Yeah.
that's interesting to me though is that they used to rely on the retailers to do the advertising for them. And now
Most of them still do.
Yeah.
And now the ones that certain ones are getting out there and they're saying, no, we're going to rely on social media. We're going to rely on live selling platforms. We're going to rely on content creators. We're going to hire look how many publishers are hiring content creators. Like shout out to Boom Studios. They have, I think, 2 content creators that work for them that they take to their cons and they make, little things, and it helps immensely. I mean, and
Diamond had two content creators also, and so did DC when they had the whole show on HBO Max.
Yeah,
That show's not around anymore.
Sure. I think what makes it very challenging for this conversation for my specific brand, not for anybody else's brand, but myself. I never had a diamond to boom relationship. I had a Just James Comics to Boom Studios relationship.
What do you mean by a diamond to boom relationship? I don't.
So traditionally, when you first start off with Diamond really didn't want you to communicate beyond.
Okay, I get you now. I get you.
Because they're the middle guy.
Diamond was the middleman. I got you now. Okay.
Right, exactly. So I always did my business directly with the publishers. So the ask was a real ask. Hey, I would like to see some of our names in back of a book at Boom Studios. And guess what Boom started doing? Putting all the stores in alphabetical order on their last page.
Yeah, you got rid of the middleman.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think what happens is you have to take the opportunity when it presents itself to create that relationship with the publisher to let them know, number one, you exist and you're not just a number that they're looking at or a name they're looking at in a list. And then personally create that relationship. And I think if you can do that in Emmett's case, you can get a lot of your ask done. You're not going to get all, and you're not going to get 100% of what you're asking, but you create that relationship for future cool stuff to happen, whether it's just extra posters or whatever it is. I think that's very, very important. But you have to remove these people that stand in front of you and you say, you can't talk to Philip.
Yeah.
No, I can talk to Philip. And I think that's very, very important.
I don't think he meant for it to sound the way it sounded.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think he just meant to say, like, we can't just let one sales channel be our determining success factor.
I agree with that. And I think that goes to show how different everything is now, because everybody is able to get rid of the middleman for the most part. But here's the thing. You can do that and you can succeed in it, but it's going to be easier if you have people to lean on. It's always easier in life if you have people to lean on. And what do I mean by that? If I can help, from a creator's perspective, you're the one doing the art or creating the story. You're the ultimate, originator of this. And you really don't need anybody. If you could create it yourself, you could sell it yourself, you could create your own YouTube channel, you could create your own Instagram, you could create your own shop, everything. But it's going to be easier if you come on my show and tell my audience about it. If you reach out to retailers that are big retailers that have big audiences and say, hey, can you let's work together and let me get into your audience. It's going to work quicker and be easier. And it's going to take less effort to rely on each other. And if we rely on each other and we're able to be, what is that? Symbiotic, I guess, we're both getting something out of it and making the end goal easier. That's the key. I think that instead of looking at it like people need somebody, like who needs who, like I did for the title, I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't think that retailers are needed. I don't think that distributors are needed. I think that, but it makes it easier. It sure as hell makes it easier. But here's the thing. There is this weird change in the industry happening so quickly, and so many things are changing. And another one of those weird changes is live selling platforms. Live selling platforms are huge, and we're seeing money and sales on live selling platforms like we've never seen. The other day, I saw a guy put up a Jackie Robinson baseball card on his Whatnot sale, and it was a graded Jackie Robinson. It wasn't like super high grade. It was like mid-grade, like a PSA 5, and it sold for like $67,000 on a Whatnot sale. You know what I mean? And I'm just thinking to myself, this is crazy. This is nuts. This is what's happening across the board on these live selling platforms. We're seeing these big sales. We're seeing volume sales. We're seeing, we talked about it in the pregame show, things like Davis Ryder going on to a sale and selling out, however many thousands of comics
in 2 minutes.
Yeah, 600 comics in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that. And all of that together has created this hype with stuff that also helps it on the secondary market. It's helping Dan. Look at Dan Quintana, right? Everybody went crazy for these. The art was great. It was on a killer book, Absolute Batman. He did a couple Absolute Batman variants. It was an amazing book. Now people see that book. The book shoots up in value. A live seller goes, okay, I'm gonna do another book with him. They sell out a book. It creates this hype. Now Dan Quintana is selling his art for $100,000, his original art for $100,000, right? So it's like the symbiotic thing that's happening. But at the same time, there's also this thing that's happening where people are seeing how much money is being made and going, well, I can make that money too. And the question is, can you? And we're back to the who needs who thing, right? Can you really do this on your own? And that's another question I want to ask. You know, do you guys, like, how many people can actually do this on their own? There's very few people that can actually do the things like Davis is doing, or do the things that like Mark Spears is doing, or do the things that Dan Quintana are doing.
Hold on, slow down. Let me explain something to you, because you guys get so high on this guy did 100. Who the fuck cares? You know how many books just sold right now live streaming? Yeah. Probably about 10,000 books just sold right now. So it's not a big deal that someone sold 600 books in
yes, it is. It's a huge deal
right now. While we're talking, you guys forget about the guy who has to do $1,000 a week and has to do 2
We're
shows.
not forgetting about that guy. I understand that.
Highlighting these guys. You have to understand there are 10,000 people a week that sell live streaming, and even more. So we need to celebrate the guy that does 500.
We do celebrate those guys.
The guy that
we do celebrate those guys.
What happens is every minute thousands of comics are being sold. So it's just not about this Dylan guy that you're talking about. It is about everybody that is successful.
The next time I see Dylan, I'm going to tell.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, whatever his name is, I don't care what his name is.
We know. We can tell.
What? Yeah. The point is, we forget that when you say, "Can anybody do it?" Yes, and people are doing it that are
I think
$200 a week.
I don't think that the audience looks at it like that, because we talk about live selling as a general platform. I talk about you all the time, Jesse. You're selling at fucking 4 a.m. in the morning and selling a ton of books. We talk about you all the time selling books. We talk about anybody. Hold on. It is relevant to the conversation. My
point is, why do we celebrate these guys that
we
are
celebrate
so out there?
No, we celebrate the ability to sell. We celebrate
everybody. That's all I'm just asking. Just celebrate everybody.
I agree. You should celebrate everybody. When somebody does something phenomenal in the space, that should be talked about and is relevant and should also be celebrated. There's 400,000 people out there playing basketball. We talk about the ones who win championships and somebody broke a record for high scores in a game. We celebrate those individual accomplishments. This person had a huge individual accomplishment. We're not minimizing anybody else at all. But this huge individual accomplishment,
he wouldn't be able to do that without the other people that do it. We understand that. There is nobody out there that like is better than the team.
How many books do you sell today?
I don't know. Who knows? But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the ability to do it on a level like
success is about accomplishing something and doing it even better the next day. So the next time he sells 102,000 comics, let me know, and that's success for him.
That is one way to define success. That is correct. Success is there's many ways to define success. Some people want success just to live a happy, full life. Some people, success is having a Lambo in their driveway. Some people want a big house. Some people want a hot wife. Some people want a six-pack abs. Nobody here wants six-pack abs. But
I want them, just not on me.
So yeah, there's lots of ways to define success. 100%. This dude was able to sell an exclusive variant. 600. I think it was 600. I can't remember. I think it was 600. It could have been 800 copies. He took a huge risk. He said, "Guys, I'm going to limit this exclusive that I've already paid for, already invested in. I'm going to limit this to whatever sells in this. I think it was an hour or 30 minutes. I can't remember what it was exactly. We had a limited time frame. It was a huge risk.
2 minutes.
He said, I'm going to sell whatever sells. And then within seconds, he sold, I can't remember again, 600 to 800 copies. Somebody in the chat helped me out. He sold out in seconds.
Awesome.
The minute he hit live, it was like, he was like, what? It was phenomenal, and it's
Very
never
cool.
been done before, and it's huge, and it deserves to be talked about. No one is minimizing what everyone else did. I just did some numbers before while we were live, right before we went live at 9:20, about an hour ago. There were 82 live comic book sellers on Whatnot, and there were another 111 scheduled to go live before midnight.
Yep.
So let's assume they all went live. That's 193 people would be live selling comic books, which is amazing. How many comic stores are opened right now? Probably zero, right? Unless
Zero.
Emmett, your background is unless you're in the store, somebody can walk in your door.
Exactly. Well, I think a comic book store in our measure is always open because of our platforms that we have. My whole point is cool. This guy did a great thing. I just want to make sure that we don't. It's very interesting how we say this, but we have brand new people. We want them to know that
I know, but you just
is hitting your marks.
But you just pinpointed, or you just dialed in on Davis. I wasn't talking just about Davis. I was talking about how many people are able.
You guys talked about it on the
Last
pre-show,
three
the
shows.
talk show last
we didn't-
week.
No,
Remember, you
no,
were talking
we
about
talked
it
about it
It's
on the
been mentioned
pre-show.
every
I said
MC,
we talked about it on the
right.
pre-show.
No, not the
And
pre-show.
it's
We
probably
did
on
talk about it last
MTV.
3 weeks.
But again, you just dialed in on Davis. I was talking about how many people can actually do it out there without anybody else. Like that type of heat and excitement doesn't happen just by somebody else. It's by the heat is caused. Yes, the art is good or the book is good, but it gets hyped in other ways. It gets hyped by people
2-minute
talking
time
about
limit.
it.
Created a lot of FOMO.
Well, hold on. It gets talked about by the hype of the secondary market of artist sales, and we see that with that's how Mark got hot. That's how Dan got hot. Like these artists, when you see their books selling, Sveta, also collectability, right? So that's the other hype. Sometimes most of the time it's not going to be something that's not rare that's gonna go up like crazy in value like that. And then it's not everybody that can just go on to Whatnot and sell out of everything they have like that, right? Or any live selling platform. You know what I mean?
Is it selling out or hitting a number that you need to hit?
No, I'm just saying selling out. I'm saying selling out.
Yeah, but let me explain. If someone goes on Whatnot and they say, listen, my only way to pay my power bill at my store is to do a Whatnot show, and I have to raise $500. And they don't sell out, but they get their $500. That's a win for them.
But I'm not talking about that.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm asking if there are other people, how many people out there can actually pull that off where you don't rely on anybody else. There's not very many people out there that you can rely on that can pull that off. You have to rely on your community. You have to be able to lean on each other at certain times, to utilize, hey, you have this, I have a book that you like. Can I come and talk to you about it and open up your audience to my stuff? Like, there's very few people out there that can pull it off where they can just say, hey, I have a book. I'm going to go on and it's going to sell like crazy. There's very few people that can do that. That's what I'm saying. And this whole conversation of the show right now is about the fact who needs who. The publishers don't need each other anymore, but there's a reason that they work together still. Right? So that's what I'm asking. Is there very many publishers out there other than DC that can do what they do, or is there any publisher out there that can just sell in retail comic shops or brick and mortar comic shops and be successful? I don't think so.
Well, it depends on what their goal is to be successful. Like Sean was talking about IPs and how you take that to a movie studio and you do XYZ. So I think at the end of the day, there are plenty of publishers who can be successful with a brick and mortar, but that's limited success. Why would you not want all of that success on all those platforms, on all those spaces, learning how to be a little bit more social? Look at everybody that's come on this show. Over 90 guests have come on this show to either pitch their brand, themselves, or life. And so I think, yes, there are a lot of publishers that can do that. But I think I would look at a publisher like that and say, you're very limited on how successful you want to be in this day and age. And I think that's very important, that my partner is looking to be successful beyond just selling a comic book in my store.
Mm. Gotcha.
Because Hollywood doesn't measure your success by dollars.
Yeah, they do. What
So
are you
if
talking
they're picking,
about?
because if they're picking up your book, it's how many people bought your book. It's not,
Yep.
oh, the book made because we sold 6,000.
Most books get
rare
optioned before
issues.
they even get released nowadays.
Right. Right.
Well, so then it's on the story. It's not about what they
That's-
sold on the internet.
Yeah,
right?
it has
But
nothing to do with how many
that's
books
only
you
if
sold.
that's because Hollywood's getting a. How many did they lay their money on? Okay, every book gets optioned.
Right.
How many they actually paid for? Because there's options without money. That's not an option.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Exactly. And so it depends on how many titles you have. Again, it depends on your outreach. If you're doing conventions, why are you doing a convention? Do publishers do conventions to technically make money? Or they're just trying to reach a whole new group of people and then see their name and their brand at this convention?
If they
Or
brought back advertising, it's how many issues you sold, not how many variant covers you sold. It's how many issues you sold, because they don't want somebody stacking 5. That's, if you went to to Dodge and said, hey, we want to put your car in this comic. We sold 60,000 copies, and they find out that you sold 10,000 copies 6 times.
Yeah. I just think
Same thing.
I think it's very interesting that there is this thing going on right now where people are seeing the money that's coming in and they're going, you know what, I want a bigger chunk of that money ultimately now. And I
Right.
think that in order to get that type of money and for people to have that hype around your project, it takes more than just you. And I think that
Yeah.
it can be done, but I feel like it's either super lucky or you got to put in a ton of work, right?
Right.
It's always
Exactly.
work.
Yeah.
Well, you always
There's no
know.
luck without work.
Right. And it's always, you always know a good team leader when they say my team members versus my employees. And those are the people that rise to the top, that understand that it takes this great team of like-minded people to take that brand to another level. Even though that team knows that the ultimate success is going to land with that owner, right? But they also know that owners then take care of them. So I think that kind of down to if you're shipping out 50 books a week and you're saying, oh my gosh, is the postman going to show up every day to pick up my books? And you create that relationship with them, and all of a sudden the postman stopping and saying, hey, how's your business? Hey, last week you only give me 50, this week you're giving me 75. You're creating that relationship with your UPS driver, your FedEx driver. So the team is beyond just selling a comic book. It's how your business is formed to take care of that customer in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so who needs who? I think the ultimate answer is we all need each other. We need publishers to make comics. We need shops to keep the community and readership aspect going.
Right.
We need YouTube channels to reach a broader audience. We need websites and to do articles about new stuff that came out. We need distributors. Everybody needs each other. But I think the ultimate thing here is like no one thing is less important to the industry. I think to individual businesses, one thing may be less important than the other, but the industry needs all aspects of it. I really think so.
Yep.
Like,
Yes.
and like, look,
It's an
live
ecosystem.
sales. If 4 or 5 years ago, there would not be 193 whatnot shows scheduled to go on a freaking Tuesday night.
Right.
On a Tuesday night. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
not
here's
counting.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing. Me and Sean, as one of the first two ever to live stream, it was very simple. You would go on and say, "Oh, Sean's on. I'll wait till Sean goes off," right? Because there was no one else on to worry about.
There's a very
Now
small
it's
audience.
kind of like, now it's kind of like, okay, 180 people. Okay, I can battle with those 180. And one of the things that I want to stress beyond what we talked about was most people know that our very successful live streamer is the total audience you have is immaterial. Do you have those core 15 to 25 people that buy from you every single show? As long as those 25 show up, you're in excellent shape. So this thing
But
that
should you rely on those 25 people, I guess is the question.
No,
I think they're
absolutely not.
relying on you.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
So
Yeah,
you got to
great
keep
point.
in mind, the way you present your show is a gateway for that person to get away from the real world, get some good comic book therapy with a whole bunch of cool people they know and hang out with. So if you look at your retention sales, our retention sales for doing 5 shows a week is about 85% of our sales are retention sales. And that 15% is awesome. And we're trying to say, how do we make that 15% retention? That's very, very important, because if I know I turn on my show and those 10 customers, those 10, 15 customers are in within the first 5 minutes, I'm golden the rest of the show. And let me tell you, that 85% is probably 90%, because at the end of the day, we're packing the same stuff plus that extra 10 to 15 extra buyers that might come again, but that's okay. But so your live show should be based on your retention and creating a show that people need you to do so that they can buy more for it. And I'll give you a prime example. Everybody jokes about me starting my show at 2 a.m. I know Sean was saying his show ended at 2 a.m. a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, I start at 2 a.m., dude. We moved our show. eBay called me and they said, "Why do you go on at 2 a.m.?" I said, "Because I got this customer base." And the guy says, "I'm not supposed to tell you this because it's just algorithms that we're not allowed to share. You might want to go on at 10 o'clock. And I'm thinking, I'm not going on at 10 o'clock. I'm going to lose all those customers. I went in at 10 o'clock, and guess what? My top 15 customers were on at 10 o'clock. And I didn't realize that, they're buying from someone else till I come on at 2 o'clock. Let's go in that 10 o'clock spot so they're not buying from them. They're buying from me now. And I end at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning anyways. So I'm just not ending at 5 o'clock. But anyways, if you create a space that people want to be in and they might buy from you, that's being successful in live streaming.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Sean. We could talk about what makes a good stream and when to stream and how to stream and philosophies of streaming and all that stuff. And we're always trying something different on our channels to get more hype, more excitement. We always want new buyers. We're always tracking those metrics and looking at the analytics, just like any e-commerce platform. We always want new buyers on our website because, there's a cycle to buyers. People, sometimes a whale, somebody spends a lot of money, they show up, they spend a shit ton of money, and then they disappear.
Yep.
Because they realize, oh, I have 17 long boxes of comics. I'll move on to my next hobby, start collecting watches or something else, right? But what you want is that dude that can come in and spend responsibly and stay with you for a long time.
Yep.
A loyal, avid reader, a fan of a certain artist. If they don't read, they're a fan of a certain artist and they want to buy all their stuff, or they like a certain kind of cover. Everyone collects differently, right? But that's what we're always trying to get. It's what we always want to. And then it's incumbent upon us as sellers to do the right thing to keep those buyers.
Yep.
Right, by providing superior customer service and great shipping and great books at a great price, and not taking advantage of them, and taking some hot cover that's worth $4 and starting it for $1 and letting it sell for $200 and being like, "Oh, great purchase, great purchase! I ripped you off $196." Anyway, integrity is part of it, but going back to what you said earlier, the dude that needs to sell $500 books to pay his light bill, he's got bigger problems.
Why?
But he can utilize. But it's pretty fucking cool
Why
that
does
he
he have
can
bigger
utilize.
problems? Hold on. Why does he have bigger problems?
Because he's
He's having to do a second job.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe his store's not doing that well that week. Maybe he's at a 700 square foot store.
We thought you meant you were talking about just some Joe.
Just some Joe on the street.
No. I'm talking about a store owner. We need to sell store owners that are trying to pay their power bill.
I've been in that situation where I need to stream right now and make money just so I can eat or go home. I need $10 in my gas tank and I can't afford it. I definitely have bigger problems. I wasn't running my business correctly. I was ordering too much product, wasn't selling enough. I have bigger problems to worry about. And I was just going to say, that dude that's in that situation, I don't think he should be celebrated. He needs a stern talking to or a good business counseling.
Well, what's interesting also is that
hold on. Maybe he can do both. Maybe he can do what it takes to keep his power on and not give up. Right? We don't like people that give up. That's very important, right? I can't stand people that give up. I don't care what you got. You got to do what you got to do. And then at the same time, we can coach them. And maybe he'll reach out to someone like a Sean or myself or Emmett or Brian to get coached. We never want to put ourselves in a position to take away from someone else's success, no matter how small it is or how tiny it is. We aren't better than them. And like you said, you were in that position before that you put yourself in. But that's you.
I'm not talking about.
Some people can't afford a exclusive, Sean.
Jesse, right? I was more talking in jest and making a little bit of a joke here. I'm not seriously saying if you're in this situation, you're a turd. Like you got bigger problems if you need to make $500 to pay your light bill. You really do.
Wow, that's your opinion.
I'm not better than him. In no way. I've been that guy. I lived in my store for 2 weeks because I couldn't afford to go home. I couldn't afford to put $400 down to rent a room in a freaking trailer. Like, I've been in that situation. Did I have bigger problems? Absolutely. Absolutely, I had big problems. I didn't know how to run my business correctly. I was making bad mistakes left and right. I talked to you during that time, showing you my house. Yeah, and that's what I did.
Yep.
And there's a few other things, just not to be argumentative, but sometimes there's a difference between quitting and knowing when to stop. There's a difference. If somebody breaks their leg, I don't want you to finish the marathon. I want you to quit. I want you to stop because it's better for you.
You can crawl. Look at how many people have look at all the videos that people have crawled and someone has stopped who was then when to go back and crawl. You're in the military. You know you don't leave anybody behind, even with a broken leg.
I had a dude snap his leg and he wanted to continue walking through the hike so he didn't have to quit and be branded a quitter. I made him get in the back of that freaking Humvee.
There you go.
He can probably walk better today because I made him get in the back of the Humvee.
Right.
So there is a time when you need to tap out for sure.
Yeah, I get it. But when you have a lease that's still 2 years going and you just want to pay that power bill, I understand your point. What I'm just trying to say is live streaming gives someone the opportunity where they never had before.
Make the extra cash.
Right, to make the extra cash.
Somebody didn't come into their store. Traffic to a brick and mortar, getting traffic through your door.
Right.
Yeah.
It is the hardest thing in the world. And with online selling, the traffic is always already there. You just have to get on the corner, right? That's what online's. Hey, I'm on the corner. Look at me over here. And you can sell stuff.
Right. And so
you still have to work on getting traffic to even your channel, but much easier when there's tens of thousands of people in that area.
Right, exactly. So I think having the live stream platform where we went into this conversation is an opportunity for people to be successful. You guys talked about a gentleman who broke records and did XYZ. That's success. And then we have the other guys who are being successful in their own measures. But we've never had this before when me and Sean started, you got to keep in mind, we had a self-invoice, right? We had a self-invoice. We had to hope they paid, and then we had to ship, and in no way form had ways to track everything because we're shipping so many books. Now we go on, we put stuff up, and everything's done for us other than us selling and performing, and
it was
doing
crazy.
our taxes for us and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. That'd be a fun show to talk about how shit used to be done.
Yeah.
And it's not ancient history. This is stuff that was like very relevant, not only a few years ago. But yeah, I think the live streaming market industry, it's still evolving and changing, and I think it's going to be so. Right now, my whatnot is making, and this is unheard of, for me and most retailers in my shoes that do the kind of stuff we do, the exclusives, the website is the blood of your business. Your email list is the most sacred thing that you have. Your website is everything. It's everything. My website is making 50 to 60% what my whatnot is making.
Yep.
And that's unheard of. That's insane. Yep. That's crazy. That's if you had told me that 5 years ago, I'd tell you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Right. Now, the one thing that you want to look at is when you look at that, you want to look at your crossover. How many people that you sell live streaming, right?
Very
that
few.
Actually moves over to your webpage and says, I want to support Sean when they're not live streaming.
You know what's interesting about that? Because you say very few, Sean, is because when live streaming first started, I remember when Jack first came to us about Whatnot, when Whatnot very first started, before they had any real comic sellers on there. And he came to us and he said, you know, we want to get a bunch of people on there to sell comics. And I remember thinking to myself, like, that sounds cool to me, but I want to turn it into like a place where not only I can do content, but I can also sell a book, right? Because I'm not just not a turn and burn retailer. Shout out to Archivist Adrift, who just dropped a $5 super chat. He said, making dreams happen one super chat at a time. Amen, brother. Amen. So I looked at it and I said, you know what? I want to turn that into like something where the content is the thing that people are coming there for, and they're able to buy stuff also. And I feel like now more than ever, that's what live streaming has become. That it's a place where people are doing this thing where they're merging content and the ability to sell things. And a perfect example is that, as we talked about this on I think Saturday night on a show, and I want to show this real quick. This, and we kind of talked about this backstage when we were talking about what we were going to talk about tonight. Yeah, this was a live stream sale. I think they're called Comic Book Hideout. And this was, they were opening a bunch of the Daredevil blind, they were selling a bunch of the Daredevil blind bags, and they would open them live on camera, and, you know, which creates the hype, you know, the fun part about it. You have a community that's having fun, and they're spending money, or, you know, you're selling things, you know, there's a transaction being made at the same time, and this is what I think has live streaming, like this to me is like, not necessarily the pinnacle of live streaming, but this is how I know that live streaming is here to stay, when like things like this happen. And I'm going to play this, the original video real quick.
Ooh, gate cover. No. Did you get it?
Look how excited
Did we finally get it?
All for just a JR and a little skull thing that looks like a skull. There's no art on there. And look how excited she is. So, you know, and she did this really cool thing where she made this cool piece of content, put some cool music to it, you know, all this stuff. Well, I saw this today right before the show.
5, man.
So they open it up more bags.
3, 4, 5. All right, here's your 5, man.
What? You're trolling. You're joking. Wait, what did we just pull? I'm not. Wait, what is it?
Okay. Look what we got! Ready?
It's a different one. Yeah, So the reason she was so excited on the first one, because they'd opened up so many bags in the past and never pulled a sketch. She pulls the first one the other night, and then they pull another one immediately after it. You know what I mean? So
So cool.
So like this is the type of
So
thing
they're
now.
selling on Instagram?
No, I think that they're selling on Whatnot.
They're on Whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they
so
clip
they clipped it and put it on Instagram.
Yeah, they clipped it and put it on Instagram. So like this is now the excitement, like the word of mouth this is part of it now. Like seeing this is such a good thing. And I'm surprised that Marvel doesn't like the publisher doesn't figure out a way to utilize these more. You know what I mean? Like if I was Marvel, I would be putting these things out constantly. You know, anything, any excitement.
Right. When these first came out, when there was art pieces in the thing for DC, if your store customer pulled it, they would actually, the customer would send the video to DC, and then DC would tag you in as your store that got it. And I don't know why they stopped doing that. Either they didn't have a team that could do it, or maybe they just didn't feel it was important.
I feel like they probably both. There was a disconnect where they didn't feel like it was important, and they probably most of these publishers don't have a PR team like that deals with the current world of PR. Like in the past, it used to be you would send an advertisement to Wizard Magazine or Comics Buyer's Guide, or put it in the back, you know, create ads in computer magazines or something. It's, you know, even back in the day, if you remember the G.I. Joe cartoons, they got started as advertisements for advertising the comic, right?
Yeah.
You know, so that they don't do that anymore. And I feel like it would be so easy for them to do, because this is the type of thing that I'm talking about, where live stream is crazy, like the way it's bringing the excitement back in the game. Type deal.
It is. The problem is the margins are just so thin that hiring people to do that kind of stuff, unless they're working for books or something, like
they're looking to trim their staff down to nothing.
Yeah. So one of the cool things that we do on our show, and I know a lot of people that watch my live stream sometimes get mad. At top of the hour, we play YMCA. Top of the hour every single time. And we get everything going. Even though we've been on for 2 hours, top of the hour, bam. Every time, we don't have a lot of dollar books, but every time someone wins the dollar book, we play the guy from RoboCop. I'd buy that for $1. You got to keep people excited, even when they're not buying something, right? You got to keep them entertained. They're there to be entertained. They're there to get some cool stuff. You're that personality. So I think when people see that lady get excited, that makes you want to buy from them.
Well,
want to buy exciting.
It's genuine. It's not I used to bitch about Whatnot because it was just a bunch of people jumping up and down screaming, "Let's go." And I'm like, you know, don't be a let's go seller. Like, you got to entertain, you got to educate, and then the sale will happen naturally afterwards. I preach that to all my sellers. I'm like, you got to be entertaining, then educate them about the book that they're buying. Don't spend too long on the book, but at least let them know what they're buying. That way they want, because remember, nobody needs any of these. These are all wants. In the sales world, there's a difference between a want and a need, right? I need a washing machine, but I need it, but I don't want. I'm sorry, I need a washing machine, but I don't need the one that'll do super extra stuff. That's a want, right? I need a car, but I don't need the one that has I don't need a Lambo. That's a want, right? So just like comics are strictly a want, there's no need there at all, you know?
None.
So it's, you got to entertain people. Number one. Number two, be an expert on the subject matter. You know, you don't have to know what happens in every single book you're selling, who the artist and inker and all the stuff was, but know the difference between a Campbell cover and a not Campbell cover. Know your stuff a little bit, at least, you know.
There's still a lot of those people on there.
Right. Well, I think one of the biggest thing is you need to be a storyteller about your life growing up. I remember getting a Turok #1. That type of stuff. I remember waiting in line for this XYZ. People want to know they're buying from a comic book fan. Not everybody that sells comics reads comics or even collects comics. And I get that. Those folks stick out quite a bit, but the people that are passionate about comics do extremely, extremely well.
Well, now, but there's also different kinds of sales. So I'm gonna hire some people to stream during the day, and I'm like, look, you don't need to know a single thing about a comic. Your job is to put up a comic book and try to make some like old inventory. I don't care if it sells $2 starts everything. I don't care if everything starts for $2.
How
Right?
pretty are they
Like,
going to be?
What's that again?
How pretty are they?
Gotta be?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and
Slightly
again,
prettier than you. I mean, and
yeah,
then
there you go. Yeah, exactly. But that's okay because people know the people. I mean, listen, when I was, you guys know, I had that big Pokemon sell, and people knew I didn't know anything about Pokemon. Everything I pronounced wrong, and it just made people want to buy more, right? Because I told them, I don't know what I'm selling you. It must be cool because I was handed it to me by one of my young guys to sell. So I just think if you create excitement and you create a buzz and you create a community,
can I show you a perfect example?
Yeah, please.
So people were asking in the chat for the links to that person, for that seller, for that person that pulled the Daredevil sketch. So I went and got their links. Says comic book hideout, raw and slab comics pulled straight from our shop walls. All boxes curated, toys, figurines, blind boxes, pick up in store encouraged. So it's a brick and mortar shop. And
cool.
Perfect example of them not only using live selling, but also social media, like in ways to bring more success to their business and their brand.
Exactly.
So I put the link in the chat, you guys. Comic book hideout on Whatnot. Comic book hideout.
Fantastic.
So we're starting to have more and more local pickup people too, I'm noticing, which is awesome.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
More and more local pickup people.
One more thing I want to say, when someone wins something, they walk into Emmett's store and they buy something, they buy this book and cool, awesome, great, right? But when you buy something and they win this book and the whole chat room explodes and says, oh my gosh, congratulations, great pickup. Oh my gosh, you beat me out. That's awesome. Right? And
that's
so
definitely a different dopamine hit.
Yeah, exactly. So that just adds to it, that notion that you're being, you just won a big award, even though you're paying for it. So I think the aspect of what we originally talked about, a publisher who might say, listen, I'm still going to use comic book stores, but I'm going to use all these other platforms to create excitement and sell more things. Me and Sean, because Emmett doesn't live stream at the end of the show, you should be live streaming. I'm going to say that every week. We get the opportunity to do the same thing to, Sean said, I'm hiring more people and I'm going to do this. I'm doing that. Why? Because he's moving those goals and he's moving he's making his business better. And I think because we see the opportunities that live stream allows us to reach for those goals.
Benny Blanco asks, what's the next blind bag craze? Well, I can update you on that because Queen in Black is going to be the next Marvel blind bag. And this is very good, in my opinion. We talked, maybe somebody at Marvel is listening with this evidence here, because one of the things that we talked about on multiple shows on the channel is the fact that they should be making these blind bags special. And what I mean by that is in the Marvel Ultimate Endgame blind bags, the only thing you could get that was special to the blind bags were the sketches and like 2 books. The rest were all books that you could have ordered if you wanted them. So if you're going to make these blind bags special, put books that you can only get in the blind bags in them. Like if you're going to, don't put open order books in there, because that's just a waste for us, for collectors, because it's a different collector that's buying the blind bags, okay? They're wanting to take a shot at excitement and the gambling. It is what it is. There's that gambling dopamine hit that you get. But there's also the ones that say, hey, I want something different than I can get, that I could just buy, right? If I'm going to choose to do this, make it special. So Marvel came out and said, only exclusive covers in the Queen and Black blind bags. So good for them. I don't know if
amazing.
Right?
I wish I just knew who the Queen in Black is going to be. Who the Queen in Black? Oh, there's some covers finally.
Hella.
That's Frisson.
Yeah.
Who's the
That
second
looks
one?
like that looks like yeah.
Let's see
That
here.
looks like Frisson for sure.
Stegman, Nakayama, Gurihuru, Pat Gleason, Art Germ, Ji-Hung Lee, Peach Momoko, Stegman, NetEase, David Marquez, and surprise hand-drawn sketches.
Who's
So
the
that
second
is
one?
Art Germ right there on the left.
Oh, that's Art Germ. Oh, it's
Mhm.
not Frisson.
It looks like
Oh.
Frisson because of like the
Yeah.
Does. That color
Yeah.
palette is very
Hella,
Frisson-y.
exactly.
Yeah.
that's Gleason.
Oh, that is Gleason. Okay.
I
Yep.
think
That's
is
the
that
Gahuri
Stegman?
probably.
Is that
Oh.
Gahuri? Guri? Yeah, that's the
I
Guri.
think
You're
so. He
right.
does the cartoony ones.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
Campbell.
Stegman in the middle. Yeah.
Campbell.
Oh, that's Campbell. Yeah.
So
The one
who's
next
that
to
on
it's
the right?
better.
Is that the call on the right?
The one on the right is great.
that one's good.
Is that the call? Maybe I don't know who that is.
That is Ji-Hung Lee,
Oh,
I think.
oh yeah, Ji-Hung. There's that signature.
Yeah, he's good.
Jeez, I thought I knew my artist. Oh, is that connecting?
Marquez. And then
So yeah, I gotta read this
JR.
issue. The King or the
There's
Null this week.
Stegman, right?
The white costume is something in there. I haven't read it yet. You read it yet, Emmett?
Which one?
Null 4.
I didn't read No 4. I
I
read
got
very
it.
little Marvel. I try to read as much as possible, and Marvel's last.
I
I
know.
run out of time. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
I have been trying to read Null though. He fought Thanos, kind of an underwhelming fight, but
They don't have any plan. None of the books, none of it seems like it's in the same world. Daredevil's great. Like I loved Daredevil 1.
The
I
old
can't
man
wait for
Daredevil
2.
stuff? Or
It was
the new
really
stuff from
good.
Stephanie
The new
Phillips?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The number one, really
the number
good
one was
book.
really
and-
good.
But what they now should jump in on this. They're like, oh, everybody's saying this is really good. How can we connect the rest of the world to what she's doing?
If you want to read, the best thing Marvel has right now, in my opinion, is Zdarsky, what he's doing with Captain America and Weapons of Armageddon. If you read all
Okay.
those together, that's a
Yep.
great story right now.
Yep.
X-Men's a hot mess.
Yeah, and so we're talking about live streaming, we're talking about blind bags. We're always finding ways to sell product to a consumer, and sometimes it's the same consumer who just needs something new. Sometimes it's a new consumer who just wants blind bag. I'll give you a prime example. A kid walked in and said, "Do you have Pokemon packs?" And I go, "No." And so Austin says, "What are you looking for?" And he goes, "Whatever," right? And he goes, "Yeah, we have that in the case." And the kid goes, "Yeah, but I want to get it in a bag." So the kid would rather buy 20 bags to get this one card, even though the card is sitting right there, right? That's just the world we're in right now.
Thrill of the hunt.
Yep. They want that, oh my gosh moment.
We
And I
opened
think
up a
that's very
shit
important.
ton of Daredevil blind bags. We had all the covers laid out. We got one of the Marvel Games one. We got two of the Virgin Daniel Warren Johnson ones. We got a crap ton of 1-25 ratios, a few of the other ratios. We laid them all out. We're like, you can buy these covers for $1 off or buy a blind bag. And tons of people still wanted the blind bag.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. And we promised them if they buy multiple, they can swap it out
Switch
for another
off.
cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
You know that they also have Magic the Gathering is doing a collab with Marvel
the
again.
covers.
You're getting a card in it. It's the only way you can get that card. PSA is doing something too. It's the only way you can get the Thanos card. I think you have to get their magazine. The magazine that they send out.
Yep.
Right.
I think that's going to have a Thanos magic card in it. That'll probably be pretty valuable.
Right.
Depending on I've already getting tons of my Magic players want this book just so they can get the cards. So,
Yep.
And then there was Dead by Daylight. Hillbilly came out today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I mean. And it's got a code on the back. So
Oh,
that's
I didn't know that.
a non-comic book reader sale, possibly for people who play the game that want that code. I know I sold a lot the first Dead by Daylight comic that came out.
Nice.
People that wanted the code. So
Yeah, I thought they did some good stuff, like when they did the Batman Fortnite code a while back.
Yeah, I had a lot of people come into the store that had never been in before.
Yeah.
Same. I had people coming in like, "Do you have?" I was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." Like,
Yeah.
because they came out a
It's,
week early. Like as soon as they announced it, they came in. Do you have it? And I was like, I was looking at FLC like, this comes out in 4 weeks. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been having people go in the dollar section and they buy all the like the 95, 96 Marvel books that have all the cards in it, right?
Yeah.
And they pull the card out, and then next day they bring the comics back to us and say, well, here's the comics. I only buy it for the card, right?
Yeah.
And with all the Magic the Gathering comics, right? People
Some of those are
literally
pretty
buy them, right? And they bring us back the comic. They go, here's the comic.
The early ones, there's a couple of expensive cards in the early ones.
And here's what irritates me. There's go on any Facebook group or any thread. Facebook's the worst, probably. Anytime a publisher does something cool like that, so many people are like, oh, it's just a cash grab. It's a cash grab. It's like, here's us talking about how cool these things were that brought new readers in, got people excited about the industry. And so many people are going to crap on anything different and call it a cash grab. All these variants are cash grabs. All that Marvel, that Magic the Gathering with the cards just a cash grab. Oh, this is shut up. If you live in America, everything literally is a cash grab.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Go to Walmart.
Yeah.
This is from Most Wanted Comics. They had 3 collectors that pulled sketches in their shop too. So shout out to them. And look at that. Do you
3 different ones?
He posted the sketch wins, and somebody immediately responds, "Do y'all still have any blind bags left?"
Yeah. We get people ask all the time. Like we actually still have a few left. I didn't open all of them.
Yeah.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, that's important. Some stores don't even think about that. A guy will come in, not in my store, but they'll go into a store most likely and say, oh my gosh, look at what I pulled. They'll probably say, okay, cool. Not thinking, oh, I should put this on my social media. It's not, they don't think of social media as part of their business. They think of it as something else they have to do.
I still have trouble remembering. We packed up a pallet today to ship to my buddy up Kent Spencer, all of his MegaCon boxes. And I was like, right at the end, I was like, you know what? Hey, Alex, get in here, do a video of this. And I just like, here's how you pack a pallet of comics to ship it to somebody. I was like, it's somebody may learn from it. You know, we had to weigh every long box individually. You got to wrap it in plastic, all that crap. Like, here's how you do it. There's so much stuff we do every day we just take for granted that it's, there's a saying, everything is content. In our world, sometimes literally everything is content. I could film every single Lunar unboxing, every single Penguin unboxing, every single FLC inventory that we do. Here's all the ratio variants we have. What cool things came in the, what cool posters did we get that I didn't know? What cool ash cans showed up this week? What one per store variants showed up this week? What's the cool stuff I showed? That could all just be content every single time. I could do FLC like Brian does. I can do FLC content every week. I don't have time. I don't know how Brian has time for all this stuff.
People,
because I'm not selling comic books. That's why.
People want to feel that they're more than just a wallet to you. And I think when you do little things like that, that's what gravitates them to your brand. Last night or night before, I spilled my Monster drink all over the Dex 10 comic size in the show. Obviously, they're bag and boarded, but we're real. Things happen, right? We're real people, and that excitement of that, oh my gosh, you just spilled your drink. Or when I drop a book live on a show, they do I'm only allowed to drop 2 comics a show. That's the over and under, right? And you make them part of that live stream. It's their show to have fun and determine what that fun is.
We do it all the time. Yeah. And that's, I just think it's incredible that there's, again, as of 9/20, there were 193 people that were going to go live and sell comic books on whatnot, on the same platform. Like that's incredible. That is a sign of the times that are shifting enormously.
Oh yeah.
Enormously.
When we started live streaming on eBay, people, because I've never live streamed on Whatnot, so I couldn't tell you about Whatnot at all. But when we first started going on live streaming, I talked to a buddy. He's like, "There's 3 of you on." I'm gonna wait till you guys go off. I'm like, "Go on while we're on." the hell? Just go on. If you have confidence in yourself, there could be 9,000 people on.
Well, because there is this weird thing that happens in the world of selling comic books or selling anything, where like you guys have to, if you're working together with people on something, you have to kind of like strategize together and do things similarly. And what I mean by that is like for instance, you guys go on a variant together, and then like you got to make sure that you start selling at the same time. And I think that type of thing carried itself over in the early days of comics live selling with retailers, not with just a person who isn't necessarily a retailer that's just doing. But this weird thing happened where, because there wasn't a ton of retailers selling at the same time, they would say, hey, we're going to sell at different times. Now there's so many retailers that like that's pointless. Like there's so many people doing it that you just need to go when you can do it. If you can do it, don't worry about anybody else that's going at the same time about you. Don't get mad if somebody else is going at the same time as you, because it's gotten so big and such a big part of the industry where people are getting their books and their collectibles from these live sales, that instead of worrying about it, you just go.
You just go.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I want to talk about, there was a time back in the day, I may get myself in so much trouble here, but since I already called the guy the wrong name, who the hell cares, right? There was a time where people could afford just to do exclusive by themselves, right? Back in the day, they didn't have to share exclusives. They didn't have to do it with 3 people or 2 people or 1 people. They did their one exclusives. But now it's like almost everybody shares exclusives, and it gives that double exposure or that triple exposure. I don't know how many people have on. Sean does the exclusive and he has 10 people, whoever it is, but you are giving that exclusive more exposure. There's always going to be the one guy out of the lots that's going to sell out immediately, right? He's in and out. And then you got the other 5 guys. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that anymore. Back in the day, there might have been, but now it's like, hey, if I can have my team exclusive on, all 5 of us on at the same time on Whatnot, we're grabbing a good portion of that customers over to us. So why not? And you shouldn't think about it as anything other than just selling stuff.
No, everybody, you're absolutely right. I mean, we talk about that all the time, how even just a few years ago, if when I first started on Facebook, your tag list was the most precious thing you had, was your tag list. And if you saw somebody in your group that was taking your tag list, using it in their group, and you were blocked from their group, but they were taking your tag list, and they let me know, hey, this guy's tagging me into sales all of a sudden. I'm loyal to you. You're like, whoa, that was like so snaky in the grass to do. Like, bro, you took my tag list, man. That's so effed up. I got lots of stories about that kind of crap happening. But nowadays, who gives, like you said, who gives a crap? Everybody has their own market carved out. Everyone has their own section of buyers and that are there. Everyone has their own, like you said, Jesse, you can go live. I can go live from 10 to 2. You can start at 2 and go to whenever, and it's not going to affect either of our sales.
No.
It makes no difference whatsoever. There was 82 people live at the same time. I'm sure they all made some money. Not all of them. I'm sure majority of them made some money. You know, it's just that it's that time in the industry. Now, a whole nother part of it could be, oh, are we in a bubble and it's going to burst and we're going to, you know, I think Emmett, you were saying, or somebody was saying, I heard somebody talking about we could be headed towards a recession possibly, and what's going to happen after the war and what's going to happen after this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody would have guessed. There were tons of people that said, I was late coming to Whatnot. I was like, I don't need Whatnot. Why am I going to give you 10%? This is dumb. I have my own Facebook market. I'm not going to go on Whatnot. This is the dumbest thing ever. They're ripping you guys off. Just go live on Facebook. Look, fast forward to now. We don't do Facebook at all anymore because the algorithm sucks. They don't promote you. That's a dead platform for that kind of sale. Right.
It's hard to go back to something that you see that hasn't changed You know, we were thinking about going back last week. We made a big announcement. I'm like, wait a minute, I still got a Square invoice these guys. We got
Yeah.
to add up all this stuff.
PayPal.
Yeah, exactly. And so no, that's the workload. It's all about time management. When you finish a show, you shouldn't be up another hour invoicing people.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, an
hoping
hour.
those
That'd be
people,
nice.
yeah, and then hoping they pay, right?
Yeah.
And that becomes another
Yeah.
thing. One thing I want to let you guys know that, well, you know what? I'm probably not allowed to say it right now, but eBay is changing the refunds and cancellations on live streaming. Well, I've already said it. So that's going to start in a couple of days, where you're no longer then be able to go on and bid on 32 items, realize you can't afford it, and then try to cancel your order. So those days are gone on eBay.
Yeah, I heard there's no cancellation on eBay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Hood's in the chat. He said, keep it real. A lot of sellers on Whatnot are selling junk. That's true, man. Not all these 193 people are going to be selling good stuff. It's just like anywhere. People on eBay sell junk. People in their stores sell junk. People on Whatnot sell junk.
That's my problem, is that I save all my good stuff for the people who make the trip to my store. So that's where the real difficulty I'm having with going live. I mean, I have a lot of books, but most of the stuff I would probably be selling, like if you look on my Shopify store I reopened, it's all the stuff I mostly won't sell in my store. So mostly booby books.
Right.
Because, you know, I got a lot of kids coming through the store. I don't really have a place where I can show them. So they're all going online because they come in collections. And I've bought some from guys who were, you know, come in and go, hey, I give them to you for 10 cents a book.
Right.
And I'm not going to say no.
Right. Well, I want to invite everybody to go to Just James Comics on eBay Live, where we sell a lot of junk because we believe every book is a good book for a consumer out there. So feel free to come to my show for that type of stuff anytime.
We do have
it's
go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just gonna say, as far as
hey, check your mic.
Your mic went off.
So
test.
Yeah, it just got pulled out, I think.
Yeah.
You might have to go into StreamYard to do it. But real quick, I want to switch the subject because we have some new updates on Diamond.
Test. Yo.
Change it in your StreamYard. Go to your StreamYard settings and choose your mic and just make sure it's on. We can hear you, but we just can't. Can't. Let me get him. Let me do this.
That's what he gets for calling comics junk.
Okay, so updates on the Diamond stuff. Seems like there's a lot of updates. Chase Bank files objection to the consignment stock motions, which is very interesting because they were one of the people that was supposed to get all the money, right? Go ahead, Sean, real quick.
Yo.
Yeah, it still sounds tin canny.
It's still, if your mic is on, go into the StreamYard settings and make sure that it says Yeti mic in the mic.
Yeah.
Because it's coming from your, I think when you pulled out your cord, it automatically went to your camera. So
there's a little toggle right there.
But yeah, so Chase Bank has come out and said, hey, basically this, what Heidi put, hey, what about us? We're the DIP lender. And so, yeah.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Better.
Is
that better?
Yes, much better.
Okay. Brian's screaming at me over here. Just kidding.
Yeah, get used to it, bro.
Oh yeah, this Diamond bull crap. Yes. Sorry.
Yes, we are in the Diamond. We are at the end of the Diamond bankruptcy, and people are starting to want their fucking money. Give me my fucking money.
Yeah.
You know? So Chase Bank said, you know what? So all these objections about, you know, the consignment bullshit, we need to get our money first.
Yep. Huh? The great thing about this is Diamond has $300,000 in their bank account right now. So Chase, that's a tad little less than the 48 million that you decided to put in. So what do you then get? You got $300,000. You can go get that, but the second you take that money, you're not going to get the rest. So you might as well just shut up, and just let it happen. I mean, these guys that, someone like this, you knew this was then go. No one at there signed off on this in 3 seconds. This was weeks of meetings of, should we do this? Do we protect our original investment? But listen, they got $300,000 in the bank. If you want to go for that, congratulations, go for it. You're not going to get any of this money back. The way that this happened going into a chapter, you're talking about a chapter 11 that goes into a chapter 7 after 11 months. That traditionally just does not happen. You have to F things up so bad that the judge says there's no recourse here. Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
So Trustee Morgan Fisher appealed the court's rejection of the motion. And I guess, that's a little something, but then the chapter 7 trustee did he get shut down on that? It says here, in major filing, Fisher once again laid out reasons why motions filed by publishers to get their inventory back should be denied. Basically, everything we've read before, including the difficulty in actually finding the consignment stock, aka Sparkles Pop's threat to file a warehouseman's lien against the inventory because the rent hasn't been paid, and so on. Although both the ad hoc committee and the consignor group argued that the previous contracts were terminated because of the Chapter 7 making them void, the trustee argued that the adversary proceedings are the proper way to adjudicate this. Basically, a lot of very boring and technical arguments here, but that doesn't mean they couldn't be valid.
So again, I will go back. When the bankruptcy was filed, all the publishers had to February 28th to request a inventory count by an outside source, a secondary source, to go in and do your inventory. No one did that except for one publisher. Just one publisher did that. So all these motions are going to fall the wayside while it's in Chapter 11. So when it hits Chapter 7, everything just disappears. It just dissipates. So now, I would say that if you said that they forfeited their product on February 28th, there should be no rent due, because you're saying that by forfeiting your rights on February 28th, there shouldn't be any rents due after February, because you're assuming that product. So this is a very tricky thing, because at the end of the day, nothing's stopping them from doing cheesy ass stuff in the warehouse, and all of a sudden a big water pipe bust and everything gets watered down to eliminate it all.
This is interesting because they write, meanwhile, the consignment group filed a motion basically agreeing with the ad hoc committee's arguments for why they should get their stuff back. But just yesterday, what seems like a pretty big blow to the ad hoc committee and consignment group was delivered, as both the motion to dismiss the adversary proceedings were denied.
Yep.
While this sounds rough, it was still denied without prejudice, basically because the matter is under appeal and it can't be decided, as we suspected back when the appeal was filed. In addition, although the Diamond Estate clearly hasn't been following the earlier agreements, this possibly constitutes a breach of contract, not a termination of the previous contracts. So I don't know what all this means. I just read
so
law.
Derek,
I don't study
I want to
it,
read what Derek wrote. But it's not a warehouse relationship, it's consignment relationship. Warehouse fees would be included in consignment fees. Absolutely. But February 28th, those consignment fees dissipated and they no longer exist, because they technically own that product. So there's no more consignment to be had.
Well,
that's what the courts are saying.
There's another problem. I guess all these some of these groups that were in the ad hoc committee are trying to get money to pay the legal fees, and they're creating comics to do that, which is interesting. One of them being the Living the Line publisher, who did that Abolition of Man AI book back in the day. So that'll be interesting. But
yeah, but that book was at least had an artistic idea.
Like, what do you mean?
That book they just fed the lines of the book in, and whatever came out, they printed.
Exactly. Yeah.
It
kinda
wasn't
weird.
retouched. It wasn't
Yeah.
like make it look like this or make it look like that. It's just put in English and seen what came out.
Did you have anything in the warehouse, Sean, at the time, or you'd already gone at that point?
No, I was done.
Okay.
I was done.
Were you done because you saw the tea leaves, or you were done just because you wanted
Are
to
you
go
talking about distributing or buying?
distributing?
Oh, I was with Lunar.
Oh, you were with Lunar. You never wore with Diamond. Okay.
Nope, never even had a thought to try to go to Diamond because I had feelings and thoughts just based on just a couple meetings at a couple retailer summits, how they were handling business from the front end, the back end, the inventories, the mistakes, the errors. I saw the writing on the wall, man. I was like, these guys cannot last in this industry doing this. And then how they were pricing their toys, like just small examples. So their Diamond Select toy business. Oh, all these toys are on sale. Buy them. The sale price is what should have been the retail price. Like you're ripping everybody.
We lost you again.
We just lost your mic again for some reason. Did it fall out?
No, it's right.
Now you're muted.
Jesus Christ.
All right, there you go. There you go. Wait.
Am I good audio or am I crap?
No, but
shitty audio.
Shitty audio. Yeah. Go back.
Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Okay. It no, but they were even their other businesses, they had their Diamond Select toys. And they're like, oh, they're on sale. Buy these. They're on sale. I remember that. And it's like, okay, but the sale price is what should have been the retail price. So you want us to pay basically retail for your crappy products. Like their statues were ridiculously overpriced. I was a huge sideshow dealer back then, and their little crappy this big toys, or statues were like $385. I'm like, I can get a for real statue for that cost. I mean, it was stupid. I'm like, these guys are just it was terrible. I never had any desire to go to Diamond. And then the shipping invoices, they were literally stealing from stores with their not giving us detailed invoices. And people were like, oh, they're such good people over there. I was like, I had no relationship with any of those dudes. And all I thought was they were a bunch of freaking thieves and clowns stealing from industry under the guise of being such great people. I never saw it. All I saw were a bunch of people ripping people off, taking advantage of it. And they'd come to a summit and everybody like, oh, they're so great. They're the Diamond's the best. And they're all like kissing the ring and worshiping them. And I'm like, fuck these people. Like, they're terrible. They're not, we got better boxes for shipping. Look how great we are. We care about your needs. Like, can I get my books pulled right, please? Can I get my replacements, please? Can somebody handle these things better? Can you just answer my questions? Can you, I can go on and on. I hated Diamond. Hated them. And I've had, and at the time when, remember, COVID, Lunar started and blah, 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 night and day difference. Shipments were flawless, no damages, accurate invoices, perfect shipping.
How you like them now?
Great. I had no problems at all with them. None.
That sounds past tense. How about them now? How about now?
Well, now I changed the.
Hold on, he's got to get. He's got to change his. Yeah.
No,
well, one of the pivotal moments of what Sean was talking about with Diamond was when they came out and said that they are going to save us 25% in shipping. And they came out with this big announcement, and it came off so bad that they were overcharging us for 25% in shipping for decades. We never got that rebate money back for those overcharges, right? So, you know, when they're the only game in town, it was a challenge. And then other opportunities came. You know, if you're a live seller, you have many opportunities to sell on plenty of platforms. There's platforms beyond Whatnot and eBay. There's plenty of platforms to sell on. So, but when those options come up, it forces someone to either be true to their brand or they fail. And when the movement away from Diamond just exposed them more to their faults. That kind of were reality, right? When I used to go to retailer summits, there was 12 to 1,500 stores at a retailer summit, plus all the publishers, right? And as people started to lose faith, it became 800, 700, 600, 500, 300. Why? Because people didn't have faith in the brand that they were gaining. Why would I get screwed to go to a convention or a summit to even get screwed more? Was the concept there. So I don't know why I was going with this, but at the end of the day, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, $3. So at the end of the day, listen, any publisher that is relying on anything from the Diamond bankruptcy, you need to move on to your next stage in business, because that needs to be only an extra and not the way you're going to survive. Because in the end, you're never going to get where you have to be.
I think the problem with that is that some of the publishers are owed some pretty big fucking chunks of money. And yeah, they've moved on with how I think most people that were dealing with Diamond have been forced to move on, obviously, and if they're still in the game, they figured it out so far to just stay afloat right now. But still, like, they are still owed a big fucking chunk of money. There's a few publishers out there that chunk of money is big enough for them to be like still pretty pissed off about this whole thing. But
Like
I think
6 figures, 7 figures.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of guys out there. You know, at some point you kind of sit back and you say to the publisher, at what point did you get to 50,000 and you kept on letting them ship your books? So it's a twofold thing. At the end, it's not going to be pretty, and hopefully we get to forget about this at some point, and we don't have to talk about this.
I don't think retailers are going to be able to forget about it anytime soon, because it sounds like the debt that was sold off is now trying to be collected on, right, Sean?
Yeah. I know some dudes that got these letters. I mean, obviously, the Diamond or the bank, somebody sold Diamond's debt. The bank sold the bad debt. It's very common. Banks do this all the time. Credit cards do it all the time. They sell bad debt. There's companies
I wish
that
they
buy
had sold it to me. I could have tried to collect in comics.
No, I will tell you, before Sean, you go forward on this, I want to say one thing. I want to say this publicly. I feel freaking stupid that I paid my bills at Diamond. What the hell was I thinking paying my bills to Diamond? Anyways,
well,
ahead,
I know guys who paid all their bills, stopped using Diamond for like months before any of this was ever announced, like officially. And they still got these letters saying, hey, and the letters are very, like, this is an email. I personally got a letter in the mail. It was very threatening. It's not Diamond, it's this bar credit services. You know, we're going to go after your house and your car and your dog and your assets, and they're going to take everything you own, and we will not stop pursuing debt. I just told them, I said, look, and everybody needs to say this, any debt, number one, you need proof of the debt, period. Prove I owe this money. Number two, for this specific debt, I need proof of delivery. I want to itemize invoice I place. I want to first prove I placed the order. Number two, I want to itemize what it was, prove it was delivered, prove that I received this delivery, because I can't show you guys, but the stupid, ridiculous invoice I had stuff from like March to August. And I'm like, I wasn't even buying comics then. Like, what are you and it's like, you placed an order for $67. No, I didn't. If it was $6,700, I might believe that, but not $67. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's all crap. And they're just trying to they're threatening and scary, and it's just stupid. Again, it's not Diamond, it's the stupid bank they sold us to, these scammy looking people. Debt collectors are slimy, unless they're legit. I guess I can't just say that, because if you owe money, pay it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're buying from our live stream, we love you. At the end of the day, one thing I want to add, what Sean said, not only is it proof of delivery, it has to be signature delivered. So you have to actually show a signature delivery. If they say, well, it was dropped off on XYZ, sorry, didn't get that. So they have to have proof of delivery with signature on anything like this. Listen, the problem with this, you then get 10% of the people they send this to, they are then freak out and they're then pay this. They then go get loans if they can't afford to pay this. Unfortunately, that's just the way the world works.
Well,
so
they added these huge fees onto it too. It's not, so they're charging $2,000 fee on some back things. Like you said, Jesse, the people that don't know any better are just going to pay it, and these people are going to make a fortune anyway.
For every $1,000, they probably pay $20 for the debt. So they have a lot to work with. If you intend to deal with this bar company, folks, just say, hey, I will settle for $1 and then go from there. But get those requirements that Sean had said. It's very, very important that you protect yourself against a company who couldn't submit monthly reports in January, February, March for their bankruptcy. So they're not good on numbers to begin with. So that's where you're at.
Just prove to me I received. If you can prove to me I ordered and received this product, I will gladly pay for it because I owe you money.
Yeah.
I've paid all my debts ever since I've ever owned these businesses. I take it as a point of pride. I've never missed payroll and I've never missed any of my vendor payments.
Right.
So
yeah. Well,
anyway,
it's getting close to the end, but I felt like the end would be much closer than it ended up being, you know. So unfortunately, you know,
well, yeah, exactly. I would want to know, can you pull up Diamond to see if they were LLC, S Corp, or C Corp?
I'll ask ChatGPT right now.
Yeah.
How was Diamond structured as a business?
Yep.
They were owned by Jesse James. What?
I know. There you go.
Oh boy, here we go. 3 layers. Okay, I just need to know what it was.
It was the Jeppy Corporation that owned them.
Yeah, I don't think it was sole proprietary, because if it is, then it will never end, right?
It's probably an S Corp.
Yeah, it's probably an LLC S Corp. So
you just have to go S Corp after a while. I'd be shocked if they were a C Corp.
Right.
It was a privately held C Corp.
Okay.
So I am surprised. Here's me being surprised.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Wow. So it could never end.
Privately owned by Steve Geppy through Geppy Family Enterprises.
Yep. Very, very interesting there. So we shall see on that. It could go another way if all else fails. I don't see it going that other way, and I don't want to talk about that other way, but there are other ways that these folks can get their money. When you're going to ad hoc, because keep in mind, as a publisher, you can't represent yourself. Especially if you're an LLC, you cannot represent yourself in any type of bankruptcy, credit claims, any of that stuff. You have to have a lawyer to represent you. We saw a publisher show up and the judge like, who's your lawyer? He's like, well, I just want to speak. He goes, I don't care what you say. You have no rights in this to speak, right? Talk to your lawyer. So we shall see. Again, this could go on for another probably 6 months to a year. And at the end, it's probably not going to look pretty, but I think regardless, sometimes, someone had said, maybe it was Sean, that you just got to move on. And I think at some point, these guys are going to have to move on, whether it is a 6-digit figure or just $10,000.
Well, I guess we could define move on. Move on. They don't have a choice but to keep operating. But I don't think,
so
move on, I guess. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if they do get to keep that stock as a lien, if they'll liquidate it like they were trying to liquidate it earlier.
Well, they can only liquidate it. I can't see them saying, hey, let's put this stuff on the website. And again, they can't sell direct to the public unless it's auction, because of the distributor. So they don't have the rights to sell to the public. So that was very interesting at San Diego Con when they were selling to the public, when they technically weren't allowed to sell to the public as a wholesaler only.
Right.
Well, we'll if it goes to chapter 7, everything's just going to be sold, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, that's what but even in the chapter 7, that whole warehouse thing is the thing that, so they're trying to keep the stock by leaning it, as we put a lien on it because the rent wasn't paid. So we take ownership of it because nobody paid us the rent.
Right. But keep in mind, it's bankruptcy with owners, the current owners who have bought the business. Yeah. So it's a little bit different than bankruptcy. Oh, we don't have anybody else. no, you have existing owners that have paid for this. And
Well, that's what
yeah, go
that's
ahead.
what I'm saying. I'm saying NECA,
Okay.
Sparkle Pop, whatever.
Recouping their money. That's
Right,
what you mean.
for the
Yeah.
warehouse, so they'll get it and then they could sell it through their website.
Yeah, it's quite possible that could happen. I think as a show that has championed this when it happened, before it happened, and has been one of the most pivotal show about Diamond and this bankruptcy. We have learned that it will always be news for us because we continue to follow. Most people have forgotten about this unless they're involved in it, but everybody else, most people have forgotten completely about it.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're still a Diamond account holder, they have completely closed the old Diamond website. It is now, if you saw it, it's hysterical. It's Enesco Diamond. It's like Hallmark products. It's not Hallmark, but like a Hallmark. Yankee Candle. I can now buy Yankee Candle at wholesale prices.
So where were you buying it before?
Yeah, where you
I wonder if they have
question.
What we need is a comic, a silver and golden age comic book candle.
Yeah, I'm
Have
telling
that
you,
scent.
if they would make comic book cologne, I would wear that every day, man. Woo! Nothing like that.
I can't log into my retailer account anymore. It says invalid credit status.
Oh,
Ah.
you got to pay that bill so you can get in. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, all of a sudden you'll get a hey, you're in.
So you can buy precious moments and
right.
I haven't even tried to log into this in ages.
Right, exactly. The but it's what it is. You know, if you were in the 80s and the 90s, you had all these Capital and all these other distributors, and you just moved away from them, right? Yep. And then you got to Diamond, and now we've moved away, and now we're with Lunar, Universal, and Penguin. And I'm sure at some point we'll have another pivotal moment. I can't believe I can't say that word.
Universal has been very disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and that's another thing. Universal, I can't get them to get back to me, man.
I have an account. Thank goodness for our pal Dennis. He got them to get back to me and got me in. The problem is that they sell more than just comics, and that's why I wanted to go with them, because I need to buy a lot of other stuff. And they have not allowed me to buy anything other than comics. Yeah. I'm like, I can get comics other places. It's easier too, because all the image books are over at Lunar. So I don't have to do two. Right now I have 3 distributors because of using Universal for DC and Dynamite.
Right.
Over there at Lunar, I'm doing image, and then I'm doing, whatever's image and everybody else. And then I'm over here at Penguin. It's bullshit. If you can't provide the other items, fucking, I'll just go back to Lunar. Jesus Christ.
So I don't understand. Like, why would you just order everything from Lunar if you're already going there to order image?
Lunar doesn't have Magic and Pokemon.
Yep.
Diamond did have, and sports cards.
Well, Alliance did.
Yeah, Alliance had Pokemon and.
You need my distribution house, which is right up the street from me, Ollie's. I just go there once a week. I get all the Diamond stuff going out that back door, man.
Yeah.
Views and opinions of those of,
I've had people bring me collections, like, I've got a lot of trades.
Yeah,
with bring them up, and they got Ollie stickers on them. I'm like, how much do you want for these fucking dude? He's like, these are like $19. I'm like, no, what? $3 from Ollie's.
Yeah, I had a lady bring me 3 free comic book day books in to sell me today. Yeah, and I'm like, are you donating those? They're like, no, I looked online. These are like $20 each. I go, okay, you see where it says free comic book? Yeah, these were free. So I can't buy that. And she cussed me out. Austin came running out. He thought I was being attacked. And she's like, F you blah, 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 blah. I drove all the way over here. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, good news. Ollie's Easter decorations are 50% off.
Oh, there you go. Hey, I'm a 3-star general. I get an extra 15%.
So before I sold comics, I would be the guy that went to Target and Big Lots and buy all the day after Christmas and buy all that stuff, put it in a storage unit, and then bust it out next year and sell it at garage sales and my flea markets and stuff.
Yeah.
Always hustling.
However you can make money.
Listen, Big Lots, when they first came out the door, they were doing buyouts. And then, you know, it gets to a point that you can't find enough buyouts. And then they had to start as soon as they started making their own products for sale in Big Lots, that's when they started to decline. You couldn't go in there and get something.
I used to get some great action figures back there.
Holy shit, man. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that place is always trashed. Man, it looked like no one to clean those aisles in 15 months. So I'm looking at Ollie's by me. I don't even see comics at all or graphic novels.
Yeah, they have 3-packs and 5-packs, and they were doing a lot of trades and omnibuses. Like $125 omnibus for like $24.99.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Let's see here. I think other than this is the final thing that I saw that we can kind of talk about, or not this one. Hold on. Boom. Filbo will now print your comics as well as distribute them. That's kind of interesting. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Yeah. Is that kind of what I'm wondering is either he bought himself a printer, kind of like you, Sean, or maybe he's working with somebody that has a printer. Do you any thoughts?
He's working with somebody.
He's working with a printer.
Okay.
He's working with a printer.
Okay.
Because it's more than just buying a printer.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean, I don't have to tell it. Sean's lived it, so
it's a lot more than buying a printer. Yeah. I mean, again, I went to the website the other day and I'm happy for him. It seems like things are going good. He keeps getting he's putting out catalogs.
Yep.
You know, things seem to be going well. I would have some feedback for him on his click on one of those catalogs. I would have some feedback for him. Not that anybody gives a shit about.
I like that it's available to see just by clicking on.
Yeah. And then when you scroll down, like here's the book, and then the whole bottom of that section is Filbo distribution. Like there's so much more you can put in that space.
Yeah.
Every single page is like that. But I guess that's the format they came up with.
oh, that's a cool book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks good. Like good for him. It looks like it's going well. You know.
Yeah, he's been publishing his own book for a while now. So I guess I'm sure he has a good relationship with the printer he's been using. And he's just going to provide, you know, that service.
Are you still getting the Filbo books? Are you still selling the Filbo books that you originally bought in on, Emmett? Because I know that you had put some in your store, and I'm wondering if people ever, you know, like were there people that said, oh, "Okay, I like this. I'll get the whole series from now on."
People did buy it. Nobody wanted to come back. Nobody asked for further issues. I guess they expected I would just get them. I didn't have any subscribers for them. My problem was to pay up front and then wait 3 months for the books.
Yeah.
It was just
tough.
I can't keep track. And it's not that I'm worried about the money because it was small amount. Like it wasn't like I don't think it was even $500.
Yeah.
It's not about the money. It's about I can't track it. I can't like be thinking, oh, where is that Filbo? Did it get sent? When's it getting sent?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cool books too. I just want to wait until they figure that out, and then I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this looks, I mean, like the AP stuff is great. It's good to see Tom's got his critter in there and some other stuff.
It's a
But
lot of
it-
AP books.
A lot of AP,
Yeah, a lot of
man.
AP books. It looks like the majority. I mean, I think Zenoscope is in there also, possibly. Um, it looks. I mean, again, good for him. I'm glad that these books have an outlet.
Yeah,
I'm glad
100%.
I'm glad people have a place to get these books, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a
lot of
little
these books-
funky getting into the website too. You have a sign in, and then you have another sign in.
a lot of these books just look like stuff that that people would send me that I would just be like, no way, I don't want anything to do with this. It's not ready. It's not, it's not for me to put my stuff behind. But he's not putting any stuff behind it. He's just distributing it. And
Which is good.
if it sells 0 copies, it's no skin off his back. He wasted a little bit of money paying a graphics guy to plug into the format to get it into the catalog. So it's no skin off his back. So it's really good for him that he's providing an outlet for these people to get their books in the stores. I mean, it's great. And the fact that they can get them printed, they don't got to worry about ordering a printer, it's probably easier for him too, when you think about it, because you don't have to worry about, okay, you sold this many copies of your book. You got to print them and have them delivered to me by this day so I can have them shipped out with everybody else. He can just take care of it himself. He can just be like, hey, I'm going to print you sold 50 copies. How many do you want to print? Do you want any more for the next catalog? Do you want just 2 or 3 of them? Do you want some to you? Whatever, so I think it's fantastic. I'm sure he has a relationship with a printer. It's probably, I don't know, it was probably one of the big 4, in the country. There's a couple in Florida, one in Michigan, 2 in Arizona. Everybody uses. So it's got to be one of those guys, and it really makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
The only way I'd get into printing is if I could find one of those old newsprint printers.
where you make the thing and then you press it down.
Yeah.
You put the plates in.
Every single comic is personally pressed by me.
No, I think it's really cool that's a thing, and it's
Absolutely.
he's still going strong. Like,
Yeah.
I wish him all the best. And he did have a lot of haters out there, man. A lot of people just hated all over him. I mean, some of the criticism, he should have taken some constructive criticism. The model has some flaws in it, but if it don't work for you, don't use it. Simple as that. If you don't like it, don't buy it. You don't want to use it, don't use it. It's a free country. No one's making you do anything. If it works for you, do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're muted, Jess. There
It's
you
on
go.
Oh, you're roboting. You got some other stuff going on in the store.
Now you're frozen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get that $500 to pay the Wi-Fi bill.
he'll be on tonight. Trust me.
I'm sure he will.
That's one thing I was telling the other people the other night. Like, if you guys are up late at night, go to eBay Live. You'll find Jesse James Comics selling crazy books there, man. All right, let's get into some pickups here really quick. Emmett, you had some fucking major pickups, bro. Like some crazy stuff have walked into your store as of late, huh?
Yeah. So this is the poster. So that's a short box that's at the top. So that gives you an idea of the size. That's laid in. So, and then I gave some close-ups. It's watch for this on ABC. So it came out before the television show. This was like down in the subway. And there's Bob Kane.
Wow.
It's a poster?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that, Neil
And
Adams.
Neil Adams.
Gene
same year as the
Colan,
poster.
Jerry
1966.
Robinson.
Yeah.
That's
he
so
continued
cool,
to have
though.
people. Yeah. There's 2 other, there's a bunch of signatures that say in the year 2000.
Who's that?
He kept getting people. Infantino.
Oh, Carmine Infantino.
Infantino. Yeah, Carmine.
Joe Giella.
JL, yeah.
Jerry
And I think
Robinson.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's beautiful, dude. Holy cow. Yeah, man.
Wow.
So I don't have any idea what that's worth. It's a one of a kind.
I would send it to Golden.
That's who I was thinking about taking it to because they're the best hype. I mean, they're going to find the market.
Actually, I would send it to Heritage
Yeah, I would send it to Heritage
because it's
just
comic
because
book. Yeah.
Yeah,
Heritage has the tradition and type of customer.
I know,
would-
but they screwed me twice before. So here's the
Oh.
thing: is that look, we're customers. Like when I went to them, I'm like, I'm a store. I get a lot of shit. So like, here's an item, and I said I need some more research. I've done some research on it, but I think this is a big item. And they were like, yeah, no, absolutely. And they buried it on the second day in the back of the book. So, and did no research on it. So
Yeah, that's
I don't know if I want to give them something this big because they fucked me on a smaller item, which actually I think was a big item, but they didn't obviously want to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I had an advertisement for a preseason game back in 1947, which was the first game that Jackie Robinson played in against the Yankees. Doesn't have his name on it or a picture or anything. It's just advertising the game. But it would have been one of the very few advertisements I think that were out there for the game at all.
Wow.
The first time he played on a field was in New York against the Yankees in a preseason. I forget what they called them back then. It wasn't a preseason game.
Exhibition.
It was this particular exhibition. And I said, I can't find the provenance for it because I don't have that kind of research ability. And they were like, yeah, no, sure. Oh, yeah, this could be really big. Because it was also his 75th anniversary when I put it in. And they fucking buried it on day 2 at the end of the day in the back of the book.
That sounds like more of a golden item, I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big sensitive to auctions guy. I've sold a lot of 08 Heritage. I haven't sold anything like that. That sounds like an epic thing to have.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it looks like you got a bunch of like dope independent books in. I love this.
Yeah, so this is not the original one. This is it's signed Wizards copy.
This is the American Entertainment variant, actually.
Yeah. With the sign, but on the back it has a Wizard certificate because it's signed here on the right hand side.
By who?
I think the artist.
The artist.
Yeah.
And then I love Brandon Peterson's Arcanum. I read this series. I bought this series from the stands from the racks when it came out.
This is issue 1 through 4, all signed at the top.
That's what 46 of 500.
Yeah.
Looks like in the bottom.
Yeah.
Dynamic Forces, right? Is it Dynamic Forces?
Yes, it is a Dynamic Forces piece.
And then what is this?
This is just a crazy, like almost fanzine-ish
Basil
item.
Worthington.
Yeah.
And same thing.
This is comical. I just love Slaughterman.
Yeah, that's actually an oversized book as well, isn't it? Isn't it a little bit taller?
Slightly taller. Yeah.
So you have in these pictures one of my all-time favorite things to find in comic shops.
Look at that art, so bad. But it's awesome. It's like awesome bad.
Yeah,
So
isn't Survivor John Byrne?
No, I don't think so.
No? I thought he did the cover or something like that.
No.
Maybe not. No. Because that's Harrier Comics, right?
So this let me show you.
Look at all those books.
Hold on here. This is my favorite thing. We'll go back to these other ones.
Sure.
So these are my favorite things ever to find in comic shops. The old school comic Crusader fanzine, this is early Gil. This is Gil Kane, right? And
this is a comic convention issue.
Exactly. And then this is my favorite stuff to find. The old school Amazing Heroes magazines. This is issue number 1.
Yep.
And then, I mean, look at these. Beautiful. And comic reader magazines are my favorite too, bro. I want all of these. Like any comic shop that gets these, I'm your man. You know what I mean? Like these are my favorite things to buy.
They have such cool articles in them and just all the stuff that's coming out.
McFarlane's very first Batman image is in one of these. The first Turtles is in one of these.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was a movie promo that they actually
Matrix.
They actually they
supposedly destroyed.
that they made people destroy, supposedly
Recalled, yeah.
recalled, because of the babies, you know.
Yep.
Who drew that?
I forget. It is somebody that we know. But
and then this is the 15-year-old Dave Stevens art in on the third page, which is actually the second page.
That's Dave Stevens art right there?
No, I didn't take a picture of Dave Stevens art, but it's in there. He's 15 years old and he does the art, and then another guy did the inking over it.
Let me see if it's on the list here. Hold on here.
I don't think it's his first.
I know,
it's
but
damn near close.
I have a lot of his. Let's take a look here. Let me see if I have it on the list.
The crazy thing is that most places have it listed as, oh, this is a $30 book. There's none up for sale. There's none that have sold in the last 90 days.
What's it called again?
Panorama 1.
Panorama 1. No, I don't have that one. I might have to look into that. That's pretty cool. Very cool, man. All right, hold on. Let me bring that back up. There we go. And then, hold on. Let's go to the other ones that I skipped over. Old school Lone Wolf and Cub comic promos.
Comic coaster. Yeah. And then this is one of my favorite books, Scout. Tim Truman's Scout is fucking great. Doesn't get the love that it should.
And this is old Comic Con.
That's the inside of a Comic Con. This is a weird book. It doesn't say anything on the cover. Then these are Gorgos. Yeah, this one, the same guy that did the other book, Panorama 1. That's did this
beautiful
book.
art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's AI.
What is this stuff? Gorgos?
This is a it's a comic from Charlton.
Yeah. So that is actually their version of Godzilla.
Zilla, yeah.
I'm sorry, not Godzilla, King Kong.
It looks like Godzilla.
No, he's a lizard.
Yeah, I guess that would be Godzilla. Yeah.
And then I love these, the old school. The
tons
Cisco
of westerns.
And this one's beautiful, man. What a beautiful
It's in really
cover.
nice shape.
Yeah. So not too shabby.
A lot of westerns.
Yeah, that's dope, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then
I also got one thing I didn't show or tell is that he had a notebook with all the books that he owned. And if I'd gotten those, I wouldn't have been on the show tonight. I'd have been in Vegas with a hooker and 50 on black. 50K on black. His notebook had Tales of Suspense 38. Not what he wanted. This is what he had. This was his inventory. And what happened to those books, I have no idea, but I did not get them. He had AF 15, like on and on. Every book you'd want, he had. It's crazy.
That's where you take out a loan to get those books.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jesse, you had a killer pickup. You got a nice little collection of Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going off to Heritage tomorrow, actually. So we got from this lady, she said, well, I have Garbage Pail Kids. You want to buy them? I go, yeah. And she goes, well, I have a set. And I go, very cool, very cool. What series? 1 through 12. I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll take them. So she brings them in a shoebox, right? And so I'm like, cool. So here's the one set. And I go grab the one underneath. And guess what? She has a second set. So
she has a set of A's and a set of B's?
No, she has a set of A, B in this one. A set of A,
those
B
are both Nasty Nick on top.
So, So 8A, we have 2 of those. Heritage has then engraved these for us. So that's going to Heritage. And then they're also picking up our only collection known in the world, our folded card set, which I've shown before. And the reason why this one books for quite a bit, it has what is so funny. It's the Ricky Queen Elizabeth card. Where are we there?
Wow.
Yeah, it has the Ricky Queen Elizabeth card. So I have the full set here. So they're taking that, the Garbage Pail Kid kit set, and then they're taking my 1967 Marvel card set, which is the only known complete set as well on the market. Well, known altogether, which is that 67 set that came out for Marvel, which is this set.
Yeah.
So I have that whole set. I have 2 sets of those. So they're picking up that. So those were some cool stuff. And then I also got let me see. What else was I going to share? So I got a Soljin Jump #1 today. Yeah, not the big. This is #1. It's a manga size, right? Which is the first One Piece comic book is in here. The One Piece that's in there as well. I finally got the 3 staple Spider-Man #6 McFarlane. So it's triple stapled, right? And it has the
I don't think that's the first One Piece, Jesse.
No? Okay.
No.
I thought it was the first promo for it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it's Soljin #1.
There's the Soljin Jump #1, which is the magazine size.
Right.
And then there's the one that's the manga size.
1458 is the first appearance of One Piece. This is the
Okay, 1458.
This is the
okay.
I think this is the first appearance of One Piece.
Oh, okay. All right. So I might have maybe the first appearance in a manga size. Who knows? Because this is manga size. This isn't the magazine size. So that has this ad in it, which is the tiger ad. Did I lose you guys?
No.
I'm just trying to figure out what that it is.
You put me on the screen. Yeah. So that has the tiger ad in it.
Yeah.
And so it's triple stapled, and it has a crazy ad in it. I didn't know this until someone brought it up to me. It has Mario looking at a naked kid in the bathtub. So it has that in it. I did get that Jack Armstrong Golden Age book.
Nice.
That was cool. And then I do want to do a shout out to Shannon, who has done so good on our social marketing for the company that, as you know, Paramount Pictures, Lion Gate is sponsors of the short store. They do a lot of promos with us. So I haven't been on in a long time, but we did pick up as new promos for the store.
Strange New Worlds. Very cool. He's frozen.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Am I back?
Yeah, there you are.
Back.
Okay. Then we got Running Man. And keep in mind, we get 100 each of these and all the posters. We picked up Dexter, Mercy, which is just a small little company there. But my whole point about showing this, if you market your store and you do social networking constantly, you're going to get picked up by these companies. I mean, check this out. We are sponsored by SpongeBob. That's freaking awesome for a comic book. Yeah, a small little comic book store in DeLand, Florida. And then I just got this promo today, so it might be one of those. But
an unboxing.
The what?
An unboxing.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Live unboxing.
Yeah, that's just the promo stuff.
For that's a killer poster, though. That's gonna.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We get 100 tapes to give away. We get QR codes, posters, and we have been sponsored by all those guys now going on for 5 years. So we've sent them to other comic book stores, and they always come back and they say, no, we're just going to stick with you. So it's cool stuff.
Jesse, is this the card set that you were just showing? This card? Is this the card set?
Yep. So I have 2 sets of those. Those are going to be graded by them as well. And they're all in great shape. And then we've got one more here real fast.
It's a pretty big set. There's a few cards that are really tough.
55 cards. The last set sold for $1,000 on the 20th of 2020, February 20th of 2025.
A complete set?
Complete
You had
set,
a
graded
Oh, wow.
and autographed too.
All 57?
Yeah, all 57 are graded, and some were
Wow,
autographed.
that went for extremely low.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the only other thing we picked up.
That won't even cover the grading of 57
Oh yeah, if
cards.
that's all they sold for, I won't send them. I'll keep them. I get more for that selling them myself. And then I don't know where these came from, but it says Yabba Dabba Doo. They came from Yabba Dabba Doo, and they sent me 1-piece card boxes.
Oh.
They're like, we have chosen to do a promo with you. We're giving you these to start. So very, very cool. So again, just get out there, market. People will bring you stuff if you market. One of the things I wanted to show real fast too is a hot book for us. Can you pull up Marvel Age Preview 1992?
I think you already showed it. Don't you have it next to you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you pull up the sales for it? Marvel Age.
On what? You want me to pull it up on eBay?
On eBay. Yep.
Marvel Age Preview
1992. So 40 copies sold in the last, I think, 10 days. Yeah, if you go to the sales and look at the sales, 9, 15, 24 for a set.
What you do about
249.
Yeah.
Signed by Stan
Oh, that's
Lee.
got a signed.
Yeah, that's signed. And then mine sold for 44, right? And then I keep on going. 9, 9. Mine sold for 36. 7, 3, 3, 9, 5, 5, 5. Keep on. But these all sold in the last 10 days on this book. Keep on going till you get to mine. And then mine sold for 53.
Is it because they're not they're showing the cover?
They're not showing the back cover.
The back cover.
Is that amazing? The difference of just showing a virgin variant. It's not a virgin variant. It's just a virgin back cover of a homage cover.
You showed that earlier, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, it's crazy. And I did it on a show, and the only thing I did was I didn't even know the back was that. I was showing the front, and I said, and someone said, "Well, what grade is it?" And I go, "Well, I have it as very fine near mint mine." So they're like, "Can you check it?" And when they saw the back, you just saw the auction just go boom, 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 boom.
You know what's funny?
Right?
So, and if there's anybody in the chat that
it's like Rust #1
was one of the people that bought one from me, let me know. So if you guys watch my my live sales, you'll know that I love Marvel Age, and I've sold probably 10 of those in the last since I started on Whatnot. And I'm the same with you, Jesse. Like I all mine are turned around because I know what it is, right?
Right.
And people don't. But this is the book that caused me to start putting anything that has cool back covers to start putting them in clear backing boards. This is the book that caused it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
This book, right? The one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'll put one up tonight after the show, and it'll sell for $40 or $50. But it's amazing to think that, you know, that book maybe sold 5 books, right? And now it's sold 40 books in less than 10 days. So you never know with the 90s stuff and the cool stuff, the triple staple. You know, people joke around about my Turok #1 sales and how I always sell them for $25 to $28 per show, where most people can't get $1 for them. But I just think if you create a great experience for people, they'll pay for entertainment.
By the way, this is my favorite all-time Marvel Age book right here.
Oh yeah, that one is awesome.
That's my favorite all-time, man.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful McFarlane cover that they didn't use anywhere else. And it has Jim Lee talking about X-Men #1 in it. Just fucking awesome.
If you're not familiar with Marvel Age, just think Wizard, but only Marvel. And it was just awesome, and it really introduced people to new characters. I think at the time it
was more like a previews, but for only Marvel. It was Marvel's preview book that they that they were saying, hey, this is what's coming out in the next 3
Wasn't
months.
it a better version of Fanfare?
Oh, by far, because it was comic book format.
They had a bunch of Fred Hembeck stuff in it, all kinds of cool.
Yeah, grew up in that book as a Marvel book, even though it came out before with Pacific. There's just great first appearances in it, great covers. There's a lot of flip covers in it. So yeah, the journey into the 90s, folks, you got to keep in mind, one of the things as a retailer, you need to understand that a 15 to 30-year-old, 35-year-old, the 90s to them is new. So to them, when they're watching their show and the old guys like us are saying, oh, it's 90s stuff, to them, it's new product. So when they see a chromium book, chromium, not foil, chromium, they go nutty for that stuff. So never be afraid to show something. I guess that's my point. So
fuck, what was I just gonna say? I can't remember what I was just gonna say. Anyways, Sean, you got any pickups?
I do. I got a couple.
Right.
Nothing too fancy. I think that's going to be covered the
I
year.
love that Q book. Yeah.
So we put some aside for SIGs, but guys, if you don't have this book, go hunt it down.
Yeah.
It's
definitely cover of the year candidate. Yeah, for sure.
Crazy. I got one of those, 1 in 4, 1 in 10s. Can't believe this is going for 1 in 15.
Yeah.
Like $40. It's stupid. Lucio will be signing this in the future.
2 weeks in a row on the House of Stein Hot 10.
I'm kind of specking on this cover.
Yeah.
I feel like this is gonna
Beatles.
Yeah. I feel like it could have a little bit of heat to it down the road. So we got Kyle's book, the Lucio Prio cover for Seeds of Evil, signed by Lucio.
Where can people get those?
In the Whatnot shows.
There we go.
Didn't get too many signed, but they're in the Whatnot shows. I think the last one we sold was $60 for this, signed by Lucio.
Worth it.
And the up close one, I think, sold for $75.
Ooh, that's excellent, dude. I'd rather have. Actually, I want both of them. I'd rather have that one. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I love doing these I call them close-up covers. I love doing these close-up covers with the art that's really good. And Lucio nailed this. We told him, he said, look, like, this is a horror title, so I mean, spoiler alert, she gets murdered by this Indian. So like, can you add a little bit of sexiness in there? Like the old school, horror covers would have a little bit of that sensuality to it. And I think he nailed it. I rated some of our signature books from the con. I had to take them from the staff. They won't let me have access to my own books that we get signed, because they know I'll take all the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then I got two here. This one here, I just love this Lucio cover for Thundercats. Like, I just had to get that signed by Lucio. These two, just quick story about this. So this Carnage Born, this little known kind of Lucio cover, this was an exclusive that way back when I was getting started, it was shared between Scorpion Comics, who's now Carnivore Comics, and the CK Elite was a combination of Comic Kingdom and Comics Elite. We called ourselves CK Elite. We made a logo. It only went on about 4 or 5 books, but we shared this with Sean from Carnivore, now Scorpion. We each split it 3 ways. This was the first Lucio Prio cover I ever had a part of. And it was only like the 3rd variant I'd ever done, exclusive ever done. This was the Miss Meow 1 in 100 for the #1 issue that Carla did. It's super hard to find. She sells it in her web store. She had a few comps. I think she has it in her web store for $150 signed. But
I want you to show it up close. Can you put that a little close to the camera? Because Carla does something there, which the best artists do. And see where like the chains around the end of her right butt cheek are like, it looks like it's going into the skin. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like that.
Impression.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. There's a famous, I love when any artist does that well. And it's funny because this showed up on my Instagram the other day. This is a famous sculpture from the 1600s. But like that's what I'm talking about. When an artist can get that across on a 2D representation, I mean, this is a sculpture, so it's a little bit easier. Oh, it's probably harder because it was, carved in the 1600s. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that
No,
is when they can get that across so well, and she nailed it on there, dude.
I mean, we
I
just
just
wanted
think
to
you
close
like
up.
looking at asses, but we'll just leave it at that.
Hey. Yeah, that is true.
That was actually in Lunar. It was a 1-in-100. It was a foil. There were very, very few made. I know because I placed the order to print them. Very few made. There were 7,000 Miss Meow number ones, but only like I think 32 stores ordered enough to get a 1-in-100, and I think we wound up printing a total of 40 for overages. I didn't get any of these back until Lunar sent me my inventory back that was sitting in their warehouses. So I got like 6 of them, and then we got them all signed, and it's pretty crazy how few there are.
Well,
Right. So let me ask you something, Sean. Could you, and I know this doesn't sound like a weird question, not as weird as the ask question, but could you get excited about something old, or do you think your eyes are so focused on, oh my gosh, this new stuff is so great?
No, I still get, I mean, I started collecting in, when Jim Lee started drawing the X-Men and they left for Image. Like I'm an old school guy, so I definitely get excited. That stuff you show me, I don't even know some of it exists. I'm like, what is this? And I used to sell, flip collections. It's not a thing I do anymore. I can either when I started making my own comics, everything really shifted for me a lot. And I just don't have really a market for those old books anymore. If I had a store again, we're going to reopen the brick and mortar up for a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Probably on May 1st, which is coming up pretty freaking soon. Or I'm sorry, for Free Comic Book Day.
May 2nd.
Yeah, May 2nd. So, but yeah, I definitely get excited for that stuff. I mean, I got an X-Men 1 over here on my wall. I got Hulk 2 through 5 signed by Stan Lee. I got old school stuff still. I just,
No,
and I love seeing it. But anymore, I'm just, go ahead.
Speaking of new stuff, there is a guy in chat right now. Shout out to Mark Spears, who says the sold out Midnight Man terminal drop is in seconds on his website. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, these books right here are going to be available. Crazy. And he sold out of all the Midnight Man stuff in seconds. So if you guys want to get these books, they are available starting right now over at markspearsmonsters.com. And here is the Turtles variant that he's doing. Look at that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking good right there, man. I love that Turtles variant.
Yeah, that's
I
the
remember
Virgin
the first
variant.
the Virgin variant's the one to get to me.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. The trade dress is open order. We sold a ton of those.
Yeah. So make sure you guys go check out Mark's shop. All right. Before we call it a night, we are just hit the 3 hours mark, which is perfect. I want to give a real quick shout out. We've been talking about him for about a week, and it's funny because we had a great show the other night, talking and reminiscing over Kyle. Kyle lost his battle to cancer on Monday of Friday of last week, and we had a really good show on Saturday night, kind of just reminiscing over Kyle and all the fun stuff. And we were able to raise a decent amount of money for him and the family. We helped push them over the 30K GoFundMe thing, which was great. But more importantly, we raised at least $300, at least for right now. I know it's going to be more than that once I get the final numbers, but I'll be matching that. And I'm going to instead of giving it to the GoFundMe, I'm going to figure out a way to give it directly to Nubia so she can use it for whatever they need to use it for. His celebration of life is coming up, hopefully in the next week or so, which is going to be he didn't want a funeral. He just wanted people to kind of hang out and tell good stories and enjoy themselves and have a good time. So they're going to rent out a place. So that'll be fun. But I want to tell a quick story. And I don't know if Jesse remembers this, but you guys have talked multiple times in here about how Jesse and Sean were the first two to start live streaming comic sales on Facebook. Well, I remember the night that me and Kyle came into the store, and Kyle was trying to convince Jesse to start selling on Facebook Live. And Kyle's like, Jesse, you really need to do this. And Jesse's like, I don't know. And Kyle's like, no, man, I'm telling you, this could be a great thing. There's people selling all kinds of other stuff on Facebook Live Marketplace. Like, you need to do it on selling comics on there. And sure enough, just like Kyle touched all the rest of us in our lives, that was a big moment. And that's, kind of how me and Kyle became such great friends, is by going into Jesse's. If I walked into Jesse's shop, Jesse knew that Kyle was going to be either there before me or walking in after me at some point. Because we always met up at Jesse's shop. So, big shout out to him and his family, and, everybody that was, touched by Kyle in some type of way, and that helped give money to their funeral expenses, and everything that they need. It's gonna, he's only 46 years old. He leaves behind a wife, a son, a daughter, a grandchild, and another grandchild on the way at only 46 years old. So
Wow.
I want to end I want to end the show just by saying, most important thing in this life is the legacy that you leave behind. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean your lineage. I mean how you affect other people. The things that you leave behind is the teachings and the love that you share with other people in this life, and that will continue to be shared by those people that you shared it with long after you're gone. And that's a perfect example of that right there. So love you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Joe Benitez, I believe, is going to join us tomorrow night to talk about his new Lady Mechanica series that is coming out. So that'll be on FOC.
Sweet.
More to come about that. If you guys know that we love Lady Mechanica over here, and we got some fun stuff that we're working on. So that being said, go give all these guys a follow. You can find all their links below, all their websites below, and show them some love. We'll see you guys.
I just need to say one thing real fast before you go. We just finished getting all our exclusives approved. We have 6 exclusive for our my 2000th live show, which is going to be about June 16th. So we have 5, I think it's 6. No, we have 6 exclusives coming out specific for that show. And I do want to say one thing about Cal real fast. He was in my show every single night. And the last book he bought from me was March 23rd, a ASM 566. So great guy. I'm glad that we became great friends, and that he pushed me into live streaming. I keep on forgetting about that part, so I need to be grateful to him about that. So,
amen. Much love, you guys.
Yep.
See you soon. Peace.
Yep.